Levin is on the radio.
Get off the phone, you big dope. Get off the phone, you big dope.
Would you say that President Trump is a white supremacist or a racist?
I've said many times he's a racist.
There you go.
Let's not beat around
Let the gaslighting begin, baby.
What do you think? Is President Trump a white supremacist or racist?
He's obviously one of the two. Pick. Go.
That was a question.
Yeah,
I don't
right.
know if it's going to be a question that comes up tonight. I don't know if Lindsay
Gotta do
Davis,
some housekeeping here, man.
moderator, ABC News person, I don't know if she's going to go to Kamala Harris. All right, so is President Trump a white supremacist or a racist? What do you think? Possible it could be a question because, again, this is a question that she has posed previously. That question to Stacey Abrams. That was to the Georgia racist, the Georgia election denier, the Georgia moron, Stacey Abrams. Yeah, what? So this is who ABC News takes a look at it. Yeah, this person needs to be moderating the debate. Mm-hmm.
All right.
You kind of expect that when you have a news network that has a show that has
Let me fix the light.
100.
Fix the light a little bit, lady. I don't want it to be too.
Kamala Harris,
I know it's grainy, but
becoming the presumptive Democrat nominee, while providing
Alexa,
3% negative.
stop. And hello, everybody. Welcome to Danny. I was gonna say Danny. Anyway, the Danny Show live stream number 5. Yeah, number 5. September 10th, 2024. The presidential election will begin in about. It was gonna be at 9 o'clock Eastern time. I'm looking at my clock right now, so we're talking about another 37 minutes. Of course, I cannot show you the debate here because they'll take down the stream like so fast. Can't do it. However, I'm gonna comment on it, and I'm watching it right here. I'm gonna be watching it right here, so I can go back and forth on it, and I'm gonna have it on my. I'm going to have it on my Alexa. I'm going to hear the audio. So I'm gonna let the audio.
Sure how to help you with that.
Alexa, stop. Yo. So I'm gonna let that play. I'm sure they're gonna simulcast it on radio. So I'll let that play, and I'm gonna watch it here. Of course, I'm gonna have this muted because again, I don't want hit with a copyright. I want to react to it. That's what this stream is about. It's a reaction. And if you guys are on the stream, you guys can come in here and chat and react, say hello, whatever. Say who you like, who you don't like. I really don't care. I know who I'm rooting for. My man. Number 45. He should have been 46. Of course, some shenanigans happened. And then, of course, as soon as I put in, the pre-show, I guess they call it the pre-show, like the pre-game show, ABC, they're already talking about all the negative stuff about him. Like they're already painting the picture for the public about Trump. It's like, what you expect. I mean, and he agreed to it. I would have not agreed to it. To be honest, I would have said, you know what? I already beat the incumbent in the debate. You was never elected. He was never elected. But I understand why he's doing it. You was never elected. You didn't even get a single vote in any primary or nothing. Basically, they just put you there. They just coronated you and put you there. And so those 17 million, whatever there was, that voted for Biden in that primary, they got screwed. They got screwed. That's it. This is what we're gonna give you, and that's it. And the same thing that happened to Bernie Sanders in the previous election. He was the favorite. He was in front, and they did everything to sabotage that man. from being a nominee. And eventually this bumbling idiot Biden became the nominee and eventually, stole the election. I'm going to say it. I shouldn't say that word because I don't want to give shadow bad. But it's the truth. Well, a lot of people see it that way. When you see 81 million votes he got, that's bullshit. Straight up. I understand a lot of people hate this guy. And I figured it was going to be a close race. I didn't think it was going to be, because, of course, votes coming out of the woodwork. We found a whole bunch of boxes here, ballots. Come on. You're not fooling anybody. So, and what I said back then when he lost the election, I said, I'm going to grab a lawn chair and hold my beer. That's what I told my wife. I said, oh, they won Biden? Okay, you know what? Brace yourself for 4 years of him. I'm going to grab my lawn chair and I'm going to sit back and I'm going to watch the world implode around him. And that's what happened. That's what happened from day one. He was sworn in. He got rid of the, kill the pipeline. Our independence of energy. I think we were the top producer in energy. Of course, people respected this country. Our border was locked tight. There was no what we have now. And the economy was recovering after the, scam vid. All right? The con vid. That's what I'm going to call it. The economy was recovering nicely. And from day one, that's what he did. He said, no, everything that he did, I'm just going to do the reverse. I'm going to get rid of everything he did. Let's open up the border. Let's get out of Afghanistan before the anniversary. Because he just wanted to make a photo thing, a symbolic thing. He wanted to go in front of the ground zero, the memorial, and say, yeah, I ended the war. But it backfired on him because what they left behind was like $85 billion worth of equipment, good equipment, top quality equipment. This is not no third world army stuff. This is first rate military hardware. They just abandoned it to a bunch of thugs. And those 13 soldiers that lost their life, it was unnecessary because under Trump, I think for almost it was a long time, not one person lost their life in Afghanistan. And, of course, you heard about that famous meeting that he showed I guess the head of the Taliban. He just said, "This is a picture. We have a picture. This is a picture of your home. And if anybody if any soldier gets hurt during, our withdrawal, we know where you live at. Here it is." That's all you got to say. And he got the message. Oh, okay. In other words, we're gonna shove a cruise missile up your ass. That's basically what he told him, and it was good. They didn't harm him. But as soon as this guy got elected, and I knew, a lot of people knew that I knew that Afghanistan was going to fold up like a cheap tent without any U.S. backing. Because they've done that before in their history. They've done that before in their history. They always, play both sides. So as soon as he decided to do that withdrawal, that rush withdrawal, and abandon $85 billion worth of first-rate military equipment, what do you thought was going to happen? They walked in there and took over the whole country in like a matter of weeks. And we ran out of there with our tail between our legs, because of this bumbling idiot. And that's why I said it. I told my wife when he was officially announced that he won the election, I grabbed I said, I'm gonna grab a lawn chair, and I told my wife, I said, I'm gonna watch. I said, watch what's gonna happen in the next 4 years. I grabbed the lawn chair and I sat back. I said, honey, go get me a beer. I'm gonna hold my beer and watch what happened. And I predicted in my head what was gonna happen. And that's what we got now. We got an open fucking border. You know? You know, every city looks like a third world country now. You know, Chicago, they chopping up freaking ducks. Geese, geese, like beautiful geese that fly over my head and land in the park, and you feed them, and you know, beautiful Canadian geese. They're going around chopping their head. And I don't know what they're doing, and supposedly it's not, I'm gonna say, I don't think it's for food. I think it's you know, Haitian. When they say Haitian, I already know, because I'm Puerto Rican, so I know about the brujeria and all that. In their case, voodoo. That's the only reason why you're gonna chop off a goose. It's for a ritual. It's for, you know, so you know, I call me racist. I don't care. People call me racist. I don't care. And yeah, that's what happened. So as soon as I heard Haitian chopping off wild geese head in the park, I said, yeah, that's for voodoo. I right away I knew it was for voodoo. The bells and whistles went over, because they do that. I grew up in the Bronx. I knew people that did that. I had neighbors that they believe in that stuff, and they sacrifice, you know, but they usually sacrifice a chicken or something like that. These people are going out there getting wild geese. You know, you can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. And then I tune in right now, you know, the whatever debate thing. They're already bashing him. They're already bashing that man. They're already saying, you know, what about January 6th? Hey, you know, he's gonna pardon everybody. All right, the same woman that spoke at that thing about the black jobs. That's I think that was one of the not the moderator, the pre, because it's gonna start in about 27 minutes. Hey, hello, Tasso. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, I didn't want to announce it because I was debating whether to do it or not. So I said, you know what, I'm going to come out and do it, because I had a good day today. I made some contacts, FTA contacts, I did some DMR contacts. I've been having good days lately with the 10-meter band and all that. So I said, you know what, I'm going to come out tonight. I'm going to do a live stream, man. Anybody want to come out and talk and whatever, you know, for the Danny show. Excuse me. So, nice surprise. I'm just sitting down to relax. Okay. Well, I'm going to watch the debate, but I'm going to have it on, I think they're going to have it on the radio. So I'm going to have Alexa doing that. And then I'm going to watch it here and react to it. Of course, right now it's on Pluto TV, and I'm watching it through. I'm watching the Bloomberg channel through Pluto, but because they're gonna play it here too, so I'm gonna watch it here. But of course, I cannot show you. I cannot put this. I cannot put the live debate here because they'll cut off my stream. But I want to watch it here and react. But I'm gonna listen to it. And I'm gonna watch it. I guess I know you're gonna watch it, and everybody's gonna watch it in their TV. And I'm gonna let the audio play here. I'm gonna let the audio play. I'm gonna try to keep my mouth shut, unless it's something I'm gonna react like, you know. And of course, they're gonna have 2 commercial breaks. I believe they're gonna have 2 commercial breaks. Of course, so 8:35 right now Eastern time. Actually, let me synchronize my clock on I'm in the computer. So time, the IS. Okay, now my clock is synchronized. Okay, good. I want to synchronize my clock, my computer clock. Yes, I'll be on today. We talk, you know, we hang out, and then you know, yeah. I'm just sitting down to relax. Yeah. So right now I'm just watching the Bloomberg. They're talking there. because I can't watch ABC right now. Those people that are talking before, they all just, man, they just bashing the man already. They're already bashing him. They're already saying about the male that's dead with the glasses. I don't know his name. He's like, what is the thing that he said that was really? Oh, he said he's not gonna accept the election. He never said that. He never said that. They're already lying. He said that he's not gonna accept the election result no matter what. That's a lie. And by the way, he's entitled to say that. Trump is entitled to say that. He doesn't have to accept the election results. You have a right to, you know what? I don't accept the results. I want to contest it. Or whatever. You have the right to do that. They make it sound like he's not gonna leave. Like he's gonna have his army around him and he's gonna be locked down in the White House and they're not gonna be able to get him out. They they make it sound like he's a dictator. Like Maduro, what Maduro's doing in Venezuela. They try to paint them like Maduro. That's what they're trying to do. I'm excited. I'm excited about it because I think there's going to be this debate and that's it. Because she didn't want to agree to this one. She didn't want to agree to this one. Because first of all, there's no audience. There's no audience. I guess now we don't have an audience to reaction. Like when remember that debate that he told Hillary that if it was up to me, you'd be in jail or something. He said everybody was like, "Ooh," That's that moment he could have dropped the mic, and they were just talking, like we're not gonna get that. We're just gonna get two people. Of course, they both don't like Trump. Like they stacking everything against this man. So to me, all he got to do, my opinion, all he got to do is let her talk. Plus the mics are muted anyway. You can't talk over each other. They mute the mic. But I say, let her talk. Let her babble, because she has no. She's not a smart person. She's not a smart person. Like she got her positions, by I guess doing positions. That's how she got her positions. Speaking of positions, oh my God. Oh, I got the AC cranking. How hot already? Hot under the collar. Let me put on the radio. Let me see who might be broadcasting it. I don't know if WABC is going to broadcast the debate or they're going to have the, I'm trying to find out what radio station. Can you find out what radio station is going to, they're going to broadcast the debate and let it play? Yeah, I don't want to hear Rita and them talk over. I don't want to hear that. Do the show afterwards. Let the thing play out. 10-10 wins. Okay. I don't even know. Alexa, play 10-10 wins.
10-10 wins from Danny's Odyssey.
Third play over the Blue Jays right now. Well, the Blue Jays
right now
it's
still in news mode. Alexa, stop. Anyway, one of them gonna have it. I know one of them's gonna have it. Otherwise, I'll put the audio up here. But then when I show you, I have to mute the audio. That way it doesn't. If they sync together and I'm showing this, they can end my stream. Something like the Super Bowl. We'll do like the Super Bowl. Like the Super Bowl. I'm trying to do it like the Super Bowl, Yeah. Because I can stream it here. And I'm gonna have to put the camera away, and I'll put the audio up here. You know what? I'm gonna have this on standby. I'm gonna have this on standby just in case I don't get the audio here. That way you get a little peep of it. And this one is gonna be delayed a little bit. because it's gonna be streaming over here. This one is gonna be Amazon, so I'm gonna have to do something like this where I don't show it too much. Let me figure something out here. This light is too bright, man. Too bright in here, man. Too bright. Nah, that's too bright, man. Can't have that. Let me see if I put this up here. Create a little bit of light. I just need light. I just need enough light to show my. This is not gonna work. I don't like this. I don't like the setup. I know what I'll do. I'll leave this light on, but I'll put something. It's just a little too bright. Let me just put something to diffuse some of the light, if I can. If I can, I just want to diffuse a little bit of the light. So this one is going back like this. All right, I want to show the belly, man. I just want to diffuse the light a little bit because the problem is, if I show the stream here, right, they can still shut me down. So I have to have it like right there where I can watch it or hear it, at least hear it. Even though you get a partial, it's okay. Because I don't want to get shut down in the middle of the stream, and then that's it. I'm not going to lose my channel. It's just to shut you down. Because I did that in this channel months ago. I was trying to put the World Series game on as a test. And like 1 inning, 2 innings in, they shut me down. They shut down the stream. What's going on, bro? So let me have it streaming here. And then I'll go back and forth. And I say I'm not gonna open no browsers or nothing. This is the live stream is using upload speed. These are just downloading, so it should be okay. So I'm not gonna open nothing else. I have plenty of bandwidth. It's just that what happened to my okay? I need to go home. Home, yeah. Yeah, I think this is better. This is the way it's gonna be. And then I'm gonna go on because it's gonna be on Pluto. I could put on Pluto ABC. They're saying it here, but I want the audio to come out from here rather than the radio. I just need the audio. So I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna put the audio up here a little bit. Then I can mute it with this. Let's see if it plays it. Then I don't need this one then. Okay, what's going on now, bro? Yeah, I don't got ODA on this one. Okay, this is not gonna work. Oh my God! For the love of God, come on, bro! Come on, bro! The antenna setup is doing well. I haven't done anything to it. It's working. I leave it alone. I'm still going to put a higher pole. I'll do that in the fall sometime. And then this one I still got the clear, the clear screen 4. That one I had to the wing nuts. There's a couple of them that are rusty. I still gotta get rid of the rust on that. And then I'll put that one up there with the new pole and test that one out too. But right now, this is the RCA one. The RCA Yagi. That one is working well with the TV. I scanned it a couple of weeks ago. I went up to 89 channels. 89. 89, and I'm still missing a couple. So I can imagine if I, yeah, 89. And I know I'm still missing a couple because I used to get 50. I used to get 55, but 55 I had to point it all the way all the way. For some reason, I think it's all the way west. So that's one channel I don't get. 55. Or are they still around? 55. Yeah, that one. So I don't think I get that one right now. I think that one is the one that I'm not getting. And then there's another one, but I don't know what happened to that one. The one with the sports and all that. You said that they're gone. I have to check because you know they're always updating too. So I don't know if they went off the air. Anyway, I'm gonna go to LiveNet app. I'm gonna try LiveNet app. Also, they shut down. Okay, that's what I figured. Something was going on with them. Along with that news channel. Okay, so they're gone. Okay. Yeah, that it looked promising. I don't know why they got rid of that. So I'm trying LiveNet app. See LiveNet. It's called LiveNet. So I'm gonna put it on. I can show you that. Newsnet. Yeah. So let me see if I can do it here. Okay. First of all, I don't want a 24/7 channel. I'm gonna let it. I just want the audio come from here. Okay. Okay. This thing is really slow. What's going on, bro? Oh my God, what's going on? Okay, no, I think at this point, yeah, I'm gonna have to get the audio from. Anyway, I'm done. I can't do this. Yeah, this shit is too slow. Yeah, this shit is too slow today. Yeah, forget it. I can't do that. Dude. Forget it. It's too slow. You slow, you blow, bro. You slow, you blow. So I don't need that angle no more. Go back to this angle. This light is the one that's really. There you go. It's making me like grainy or something. I could go like right there. All right. No, I'm gonna watch it here and I'm gonna play the audio. I mean, I can play the audio here. Let me put the audio. Tell me if you can hear the audio. Can you hear the audio? As long as I get the audio, I don't care. But the thing, I can't show you the video and the audio at the same time because end up yeah. You can hear the audio, right? You can hear that audio. You can't hear this. This one. Okay, I'll play from the. I'll play from the. Alexa. Let me get this. You can hear Bloomberg right here. Yeah, I need to put a microphone. I need a microphone down here. Is this microphone? I need a microphone. Okay. So I can show you once in a while and then go back. So I'll play the audio from let me I have to look up who's anyway, WABC, right? Alexa, play WABC.
Playing WABC radio.
No way. WABC will give you that. Because
I just want to be able to hear it myself and then at least we can hear a little bit of it. Because I'm going back and forth and all that.
Voices on every side. And, look, we want to be fair and square.
Alexa, volume max.
We're going to take a break for a few moments, and we'll be right back.
Let me turn on the AC.
To all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no coverage at all. These days, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of the biggest expenses can be your car, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan. You could save thousands with one call to CarShield. Call 800
That's better, right?
6155 now to see if you qualify. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Repairs for your engine, transmission, and more can become a thing of the past. Plus, call 800-898-6155
But that audio is better.
right now and get free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options. Call 800-898-6155 today and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Just call 800-898-6155 to see if your car qualifies. 800-898-6155. That's 800-898-6155. Again, 800-898-6155. Coverage varies by plans. New contracts and exclusions.
Let me get out of Pluto. Let me see if I got, because I think Bloomberg is gonna have it on that screen.
Hi, I'm Matthew. A theater
Bloomberg's gonna keep it on that screen with all the data. I don't want that. So I'm gonna look for another channel that's gonna stream it.
A Constitution Minute.
The great Abraham Lincoln described the Constitution as a picture or frame of silver.
I don't want to sign
an apple of gold. This apple of gold was the Declaration of Independence and its principle of equal rights for all. This principle of equal rights, Lincoln said,
I can put on Newsmax.
gives hope to all. And by
Let's see
consequence,
Newsmax.
enterprise and industry to all. There are many today who seek to limit or distort this.
Yeah, I'll put on Newsmax. They're gonna show it on Newsmax.
Inequality of condition or outcome.
Right now it's on Newsmax, on Pluto.
This distortion, if generally accepted, will lead to an America less prosperous and less free.
To learn more and get a free.
So I'm gonna watch it on Newsmax.
Visit
They're gonna show the debate on Newsmax. So audio is gonna come from here. Because I can't. The Bloomberg is too. You know how Bloomberg always has the data. I can't watch it. I want to watch full screen. I want to see her drunken face. Because she's gonna be on some kind of medication. She's gonna be met up. She's gonna be met up.
Eligible investors can even buy.
Here's how you know.
And they come with a 7% dividend. Get the details.
What we like is what you don't like.
Go to newsmaxinvest.com. Forbes says Newsmax is a news powerhouse.
You don't like what we like.
Buy shares with a credit card at newsmaxinvest.com. Whenever making an investment decision, you should consult your attorney or financial advisor.
She's gonna be met up.
Are responsible for conducting their own
medicated
investments and for all tax and other risks and obligations. Don't miss out. Find out more at newsmaxinvest.com today.
Now, speaking of Newsmax,
this is the pre-show for the debate of Donald Trump versus Kamala Harris. Now live from Studio 77 in the heart of New York City with the names you trust. Now with John Cassimatidis.
I'm sorry, I can't listen to this man.
Anthony Weiner.
I thought he bumbled. I mean, he's a good owner, but he needs to stop hogging up the airtime.
6 minutes to go, and this is 50 million people.
I appreciate what he done for the station,
50 million,
but he hogs up the. Sometimes he hogs up the airtime.
The truth is,
especially when he's with Rita, he doesn't know how to talk.
He's going to be. That was the last number, right? That was the last number, Biden versus Trump. And Bill O'Reilly was correct. You Democrats said that Biden won. Biden even had a rally with his wife. It's all on videotape. You can't deny it. As soon as the debate was over, in which she claimed, the First Lady Jill Biden, that he won. And everybody in America knew that the president had fell flat on his face.
Yeah, but she gave him ice cream. She gave him ice cream.
So I'm gonna watch it on Newsmax.
And we got 4 minutes to go. What I don't understand that CNN is very corporate.
On Pluto, Pluto TV, Newsmax.
MSNBC is very corporate.
Because I want to see the full screen.
Very corporate.
Because I like
5
Newsmax.
minutes after the debate was over and President Biden got up, the knives were already on his back.
Because he was terrible.
How can that be happening? Yeah, but CNN and MSNBC and
I don't care. It doesn't matter. Let me behind. I don't care.
Like Brutus.
No, he was terrible.
Because I'm gonna hear the audio here. So
why are you guys upset?
So I get the audio. The main thing is the audio.
No, I'm just thinking.
I want to hear it. I'm gonna hear it. I want to hear babble.
That's all I want.
Well, and also, John, let's not forget the debate was in June.
It was their choice, the Democrats, to do it early because maybe they
Yeah, any streaming is gonna be delayed. Any streaming.
Switcheroo, which is what we're gonna see.
You know, but over the air I don't have it in here.
So was it?
It's in the next room,
Rid of Biden, you think?
and I don't want to hook that one over the air right now.
Did
It's
CNN
not the
already
best.
know that it was gonna happen?
You know,
Did
I didn't want to do all that.
MSNBC already know
I already
it was
have
gonna happen? Did they
the
have the daggers? Did they have the knives
Yeah.
out already?
Well,
The
I
New
think
York Times?
John, I can tell you this: the combination.
because
of
over the
Republican
air
debate and
I have it over there on that
convention,
TV, but
we got very lucky, the Democrats.
no,
But at this point,
because I can't show you guys anyway, so it doesn't matter. Even if it's delayed, I don't care because I can't show you guys the thing. If it was that, I would have that hooked up.
It's not going to be
You know?
Kamala Harris sworn in.
Watching it by myself is boring. I want to watch it with
These guys,
someone.
maybe
you
they're
know,
putting on a good face.
I wanna
They know
react.
She's an empty suit. With all due respect, I mean,
They already look at the protesters outside. They're free Palestine. Look at
I
it.
can say
misogynist.
I can say exactly what I want.
They're the
to say
protesters
out
out
of my
there.
mouth. Empty suit, empty suit, empty suit, and I'm about to be proven.
Where's the boxing gloves?
For the next
Exactly.
90
Empty
minutes,
suit,
for the next
empty
90
suit,
minutes,
baby.
Mr. Katsimatidis, you're gonna see that I'm right and somebody else is wrong.
Hello, James Farley. Hope you're doing well. We're gonna watch the debate, and then we're gonna do a reaction. We're gonna talk about it.
Well,
You're gonna hear the audio coming through here. I'm watching it on Newsmax.
The problem, I think, really is that this is
And I want to hear the
chance for
audio.
American people to see these
Yeah,
two
like a Super
candidates,
Bowl.
to see what they represent and to see how they present.
You're gonna see her fall on her face today.
It's the
Okay, not in one interview.
because the public
Unelected,
I think that's the most
not one primary vote or nothing, and she, you know, come on. Talk about democracy, right? Democracy. He's a threat to democracy. Yes, she has here. Yes, she don't even got one vote. How the hell you a nominee? How the hell you the Democratic nominee for president of the United States when you didn't even get one vote? How is that a democracy? Explain that to me. Get out of here. Democracy. It's a threat to democracy.
A dollar bet that this is the beginning of the end of the Kamala Harris campaign.
That's right, baby. That's right, baby.
Dollar bet.
So I'm talking about.
high finance going on.
That's right.
And you know, Mr. Catsimatidis,
It's over after today. After tonight is over, people. All you Kamala Harris fans, it's over after tonight. That's it. That's it. You're gonna knock off that fucking pedestal. That pedestal's gonna get. He's gonna take that pedestal. He's gonna take that pedestal and he's gonna kick the shit out of that pedestal so she can fall on her face. All right, that's what's gonna happen tonight. There you go. I'm hyped, baby. I'm hyped.
She refused to do it with her.
He's gonna take that pedestal. He's gonna kick the shit out of that pedestal and knock her over.
That's right.
What's gonna happen?
Can't hear you guys on that side.
What about your guy? He did all these interviews. We didn't take any questions. He was talking about
3 times a day.
What is this thing with Hannibal Lecter? Tell me, Margot. Just straighten it out for me.
Why they got this guy on? Why they got this guy on?
Forward to it. We got what, 30 seconds to go?
Yes, and it's
Why they got this sicko guy on?
You know, folks have
I can't
said,
listen to this
okay,
guy.
Not the vice president will have an earpiece. You're gonna
Sicko.
see, not gonna have an earpiece.
Carlos Danger. Sicko.
For doing this, I'm about to toss the Rita
Okay.
Cosby.
Let's do it.
Let's do
Sicko.
it.
That's sicko. Pervo.
WABC New York and 107.1 WLAR FM Hampton Bays. Right now, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris debate on stage in front of America.
And this is Rita Cosby. Welcome to this very special coverage of this historic presidential debate between former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris. This is the first time they've met face to face, and now the high stakes debate begins. Here it is, everybody.
Here you go, here you go, here you go.
Face-to-face, historic. The ABC News presidential debate. Here now, in New York and Lindsay.
What's going on?
coming
You
up.
ready?
Lauren, thank you for
You
joining us
ready?
for tonight's ABC News presidential.
Hey, UFC, remember that guy?
Viewers watching on ABC.
Remember the UFC guy, that referee?
Vice President
You
Kamala
ready?
Harris and
You ready to
President
go?
Trump are just moments away from taking the stage in this unprecedented race for president.
And I'm Lindsay Davis. Tonight's meeting could be the most consequential event of their campaigns, with Election Day now less than 2 months away. For Vice President Kamala Harris, this is her first debate since President Biden withdrew from the race on July 21st. Of course, that decision followed his debate against President Donald Trump in June. Since then, this race has taken on an entirely new dynamic.
And that brings us to the rules of tonight's debate. 90 minutes with 2 commercial breaks. No topics or questions have been shared with the campaigns. The candidates will have 2 minutes to answer questions, and this is the clock. That's what they'll be seeing. 2 minutes for rebuttals and 1 minute for follow-ups, clarifications, or responses. Their microphones will only be turned on when it's their turn to speak. No pre-written notes allowed. There is no audience here tonight in this hall at the National Constitution Center. This is an intimate setting for 2 candidates who have never met.
President Trump won the coin toss. He chose to deliver the final closing statement of the evening. Vice President Harris selected the podium to the right.
So let's now welcome the candidates to the stage. Vice President Kamala Harris and President Donald Trump.
Let me just, I'm going to show it for a few seconds. I can't show it because it's, and there's a delay.
Kamala Harris. Accepted debate. Thank you.
Welcome to you both. It's wonderful to have you. It's an honor to have you both here tonight.
Good evening. We
It's a big delay. My God, there was a, talk about delay.
I want to begin tonight with the issue that voters repeatedly say is their #1 issue, and that is the economy and the cost.
I got to go back and forth because
Vice President Harris, you and President Trump.
I don't want to get shut down.
And your opponent
Anyway,
here tonight.
yeah, it's a delay. Well, what was a delay and a half?
Than you were 4 years ago. When it comes to the economy, do you believe Americans are better off?
Now let it play for a bit.
So I was
yeah, I'm gonna be on this
raised as a
side.
middle class kid, and I am actually the only person on this stage who has a plan that is about lifting up the middle class and working people of America. I believe in the ambition, the aspirations, the dreams of the American people. And that is why I imagine and have actually a plan to build what I call an opportunity economy. Because here's the thing. We know that we have a
Here's the deal. It kind of sound like Biden. Here's the deal.
And the cost of housing is too expensive for far too many people. We know that young families need support to raise their children, and I intend on extending a tax cut for those families of $6,000, which is the largest child tax credit that we have given in a long time, so that those young families can afford to buy a crib, buy a car seat, buy clothes for their children. My passion, one of them, is small businesses. My mother raised my sister and me, but there was a woman who helped raise us. We call her our second mother. She was a small business owner. I love our small businesses. My plan is to give a $50,000 tax deduction to startup small businesses, knowing they are part of the backbone of America's economy. My opponent, on the other hand, his plan is to do what he has done before, which is to provide a tax cut for billionaires and big corporations, which will result in $5 trillion to America's deficit. My opponent has a plan that I call the Trump's sales tax, which would be a 20% tax on everyday goods that you rely on to get through the month. Economists have said that Trump sales tax would actually
Don't look serious, boy.
middle-class families
He looks serious, yo.
$5,000 more a year because of his policies and his ideas.
She's already trying to cackle. She's already.
Backs of middle-class people paying for tax cuts.
Yeah, she medicated, yo. She medicated.
Trump will give you 2 minutes.
They got eyes, yo. They black.
Sales tax. That's an incorrect statement. She knows that.
Where's the pupils at?
Other countries are going to finally.
Her pupils are gone.
75 years pay us back.
I can barely see her
for all that we've
pupils.
done for the world, and the.
Oh
tariff
my
will be
God, yo, she
substantial in some
medicated,
cases.
yo.
They took in billions and billions of dollars, as you know, from China. In fact, they never took the tariff off because there was so much money they can't. They would totally destroy everything that they've set out to do. They're taking in billions of dollars from China and other places. They've left the tariffs on. When I had it, I had tariffs, and yet I had no inflation. Look, we've had a terrible economy because inflation which is really known as a country buster. It breaks up countries. We have inflation like very few people have ever seen before, probably the worst in our nation's history. We were at 21%, but that's being generous because many things are 50, 60, 70, and 80% higher than they were just a few years ago. This has been a disaster for people, for the middle class, but for every class. On top of that, we have millions of people pouring into our country from prisons and jails, from mental institutions and insane asylums, and they're coming in and they're taking jobs that are occupied right now by African Americans and Hispanics, and also unions. Unions are going to be affected very soon. And you see what's happening. You see what's happening with towns throughout the United
I know this
States.
camera does
You
no
look at
justice, man.
Springfield, Ohio. You look at Aurora in Colorado. They are taking over the towns. They're taking over buildings. They're going in violently. These are the people that she and Biden led into our country, and they're destroying our country. They're dangerous. They're at the highest level of criminality, and we have to get them out. We have to get them out fast. I created one of the greatest economies in the history of our country. I'll do it again and even better.
We are going to get to immigration and border security during this debate, but I would like to let Vice President Harris respond on the economy here.
Well, I would love to. Let's talk about what Donald Trump left us. Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment since the Great Depression. Donald Trump left us the worst public health epidemic in our history. Donald Trump left us the worst attack on our
con virus
since the Civil War.
Can't call it con
What we
virus.
have done is clean up Donald Trump's mess.
Convict.
What we have done and what I intend to do is build on what we know are the aspirations and the hopes of the American
But you
people.
had
But
you
I'm
had
gonna
4
tell you,
years to do it.
tonight,
That's the thing.
you're gonna hear
That's
from the
funny.
same
When
kind
I'm in day one,
a bunch of lies,
on day one. No, you've been on day 1200 or something now. What the fuck? Get out of
a
here.
detailed and dangerous plan called Project 2025 that the former president intends on implementing if he were elected
On day
today.
one. No, you already there 4 years.
That the American people want a president.
You
who
second
understands
in
the
second in
importance
line. You already
of bringing us together. No, we
I ain't
have
gonna on day one. No, you there now.
And
you got another what? 60 days?
President Trump will give you a minute to respond.
Number one, I have nothing to do.
Fuck
As
outta
you
here.
know, and as she knows better than anyone,
Gaslight.
to do with Project 2025.
Gaslight.
That's out there.
That's a
I
lie.
read it.
That's
I don't want to read it purposely.
On day
I
one.
don't
No,
wanna
not on
read
day
it.
one. You already been there 4 years.
Together, they came up
What are you
with some
talking about?
ideas. I guess some good, some bad, but it makes no difference. I have nothing to do. Everybody knows I'm an open book. Everybody knows what I'm going to do. Cut taxes very substantially and create a great economy like I did before. We had the greatest economy. We got hit with a pandemic. And the pandemic
On
was
day
not
one.
since 1917, where 100 million people died. Has there been anything like it? We did a phenomenal job with the pandemic. We handed them over a country where the economy and where the stock market was higher than it was before the pandemic came in. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. We made ventilators for the entire world. We got gowns, we got masks, we did things that nobody.
Especially
thought
the
possible.
governor that we have. We need ventilators.
For rebuilding
Oh my God, we need
They give you credit
ventilators.
for a lot of things, but not enough credit for the great.
They call
job
him
we
Big
did
Daddy
with the pandemic.
Cuomo at the time.
The only jobs they got were bounce back jobs. These were
Fucking jerk
jobs
off.
Bounce back, and it
Another
bounced
jerk
back,
off.
and it went to their benefit. But I was the one that created them. They know it, and so does everybody else.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, she look medicated. What's
Donald
going
Trump
on with
has
her,
no plan
man?
for you. And when you look at his economic
she
plan,
like too
it's
happy
all
right now.
tax
She's
cuts
high.
for the richest people. I am offering what I
Hey, look at her eyes. They look good. The pupil. I can't see her pupils.
The best economists in our country, if not the world, have reviewed our relative.
He didn't even need to
plans for
prepare.
the
He didn't
future
prepare.
of America.
This one been prepared for like
What
2
Goldman
weeks.
Sachs has said
They even had a
is that
mock
Donald Trump's
thing and the whole thing. Like,
economy worse.
what you gotta
Mine
prepare
worse.
for? Just say what you're gonna say.
The Wharton
If you have a
said is
plan,
Donald Trump's plan would actually explode the deficit. 16 Nobel laureates have described his economic plan as something that would increase inflation and by the middle of next year would invite a recession. You just have to look at where we are and where we stand on the issues. And I'd invite you to know that Donald Trump actually has no plan for you because he is more interested in defending
Go
himself.
with the hands. See, go with the
than he is
hands.
Looking out for you.
The hands. The hands.
I went to the Wharton School of Finance, and many
Exactly.
of those professors, the top professors, think my plan is
She thinks she's in the
brilliant plan.
courtroom.
It's a great plan.
It's
a plan that's
guilty.
gonna bring
Guilty.
value as a country. It's going to make people want to be able to go and work and create jobs and create a lot of good, solid money for our country. And just to finish off, she doesn't have a plan. She copied Biden's plan, and it's like 4
Copy and paste it.
sentences, like run, spot, run. 4 sentences that are just, oh, we'll try and lower taxes. She doesn't have a plan. Take a look at her plan. She doesn't have a plan.
Mr. President, I do want to drill down on something you both brought up.
That's
The
right.
Vice President brought up your tariffs. You responded, and let's drill down on this because your plan is what she calls is essentially a national sales tax. Your proposal calls for tariffs, as you pointed out here.
This one now.
Foreign imports across the
Cuckold.
board. You recently said that you might
These guys are
double your
cuckold.
plan, imposing tariffs up to 20% on goods coming into this country. As you know, many economists say that with tariffs at that level, costs are then passed on to the consumer. Vice President Harris has argued it'll mean higher prices on gas, food, clothing, medication.
No, it's the threat of
Arguing
tariffs.
costs a typical family nearly $4,000.
It's not that he's gonna do tariffs. It's a threat
Do you
of
believe
tariffs.
Americans can afford higher prices
Just like what happened with
because of
Mexico
tariffs?
We're gonna have higher
about the
prices.
wall.
What's going to have and who's going to have higher prices is
And what
China
Mexico did,
and
they
all
put
of the
28,000
countries that
troops
have
at the
been ripping
border.
us off for years.
He told them, he said, if you keep letting them in, he's coming up here.
China was paying us hundreds of
Well, I'm gonna put
billions of dollars
25%
to serve
tariff,
other countries.
and every month it's gonna go up another 25%. And in 4 months, it's gonna be like 100%.
Tariffs are there 3.5 years now under their.
That's what he said to
administration.
them.
We are gonna
And the
take
threat
in
of it, they changed their
billions
mind. They
of
say, oh, no, no, no.
hundreds
We're gonna
of
bring you,
billions
we're gonna give you
of
28,000
had no
soldiers at the
inflation,
border.
virtually no inflation.
And they were on that
Highest
side.
inflation
Not
perhaps
over
in
here, all over
history of our
all over the
because
country now.
I've never seen a worse period of time.
Hanging out in the
People can't go out and
streets.
buy cereal or bacon or eggs or anything else. The people of our country are absolutely dying with what they've done. They've destroyed the economy. And all you have to do is look at a poll. The polls say 80 and 85 and even 90% that the Trump economy was great, that their economy was terrible.
Vice President Harris, I do want to ask for your response, and you heard what the president said there, because the Biden administration did keep a number of the Trump tariffs in place. So how do you respond?
Well, let's be clear that the Trump administration resulted in a trade deficit, one of the highest we've ever seen in the history of America. He invited trade wars. You want to talk about his deal with China? What he ended up doing is under Donald Trump's presidency, he ended up selling American chips to China to help them improve and modernize their military. Basically sold us out when a policy about China should be in making sure the United States of America wins the competition for the 21st century, which means focusing on the details of what that requires, focusing on relationships with our allies, focusing on investing in American-based technology so that we win the race on AI, on quantum computing, focusing on what we need to do to support America's workforce so that we don't end up having on the short end of the stick in terms of workers' rights. But what Donald Trump did, let's talk about this, with COVID, is he actually thanked President Xi for what he did during COVID. Look at his tweet.
It's being sarcastic. You know, that's just a sarcasm.
When we know that Xi
And they even say, they take that seriously. Sarcasm. Like we all did. We said, thank you, China, for sending us the fucking virus. That's sarcasm.
From Taiwan, we hardly make chips anymore because of philosophies
just gaslight.
that they have and policies like they have. I don't say her because she has no policy.
Exactly, she has no policy.
3 years ago and 4 years ago is out the window. She's going to my philosophy now. In fact, I was going to send her a MAGA hat. She's going to my philosophy. But if she ever got elected, she'd change it. And it will be the end of our country. She's a Marxist.
Exactly.
Everybody knows she's a Marxist. Her father's a Marxist.
Now they're going to have a t-shirt with a MAGA hat.
And he taught her well.
They're going to have a t-shirt with her with a MAGA hat and point out his
And
policies.
when you look at these millions and millions of people that are pouring into our country monthly, where it's, I believe, 21 million people, not the 15 that people say, and I think it's a lot higher than the 21. That's people in New York State pouring in. And just look at what they're doing to our country. They're criminals. Many of these people coming in are criminals. And that's bad for our economy, too. You know, you mentioned before, we'll talk about immigration later. Well, bad immigration is the worst thing that can happen to our economy.
Freaking beacon in here, bro.
They have, and she has destroyed our country with policy.
I'll put it right
that's
there.
insane. Almost policy that you say they have to hate our country.
President Trump, thank you. Lindsay.
I want to turn to the issue of abortion. President Trump.
Now, here we go. Women's rights. Here we go. That's the only part she's gonna get. You know, she's trying to try to get some points.
President in American history. Then last month, you said that your administration would be great for women and their reproductive rights. In your home state of Florida, you surprised me.
And he's not against it. He just, every state has to decide on their own.
That it was too short. And you said, quote, I'm going to be voting that we need more than 6 weeks. But then the very next day, you reversed course and said you would vote to support the 6-week ban. Vice President Harris says that women shouldn't trust you on the issue of abortion because you've changed your position so many times. Therefore, why should they trust you?
So the reason I'm doing that vote is because the plan is, and the vote is, they have abortion in the 9th month. They even have, and you can look at the governor of West Virginia, the previous governor of West Virginia, not the current governor, is doing an excellent job. But the governor before said the baby will be born, and we will decide what to do.
Demonic, yo, for real.
Execute the baby, and that's why I did that.
Who's going to have an abortion in 9 months?
Because they're radical.
That's murder. I don't care what anybody says. That's straight up
vice
murder.
presidential pick, which I think was a horrible pick.
That's what we have in the state.
Because he is really out of it. But her vice
a jerk off
presidential
governor
pick
we
says
had.
abortion in the 9th month is absolutely fine. He also says execution after birth. It's execution, no longer abortion, because the baby is born is okay. And that's not okay with me. Hence the
Exactly.
vote. But what I did is something.
You got to draw the line somewhere. You can't just say,
to get Roe v. Wade into the states.
Baby come out, oh, I don't like the baby.
Heart
Seriously, like
of 6 Supreme Court justices.
People are demonic.
We were able to do that. Now I believe in the exceptions for rape,
Fucking
incest,
liberals are
and
demonic.
life
I
of the
swear to
mother.
God,
I
yo.
believe strongly in it. Ronald Reagan did also. 85% of Republicans do.
I mean, how can you be in favor of that?
But we were able to get it, and now states are voting on it. And for the first time, you're going to see. Look, this is an issue
I'm with
that's torn
liberals.
our country apart.
You give them this
52
much,
years.
then they want to take this
Every
much.
legal scholar, every Democrat, every Republican,
Like
liberal,
12 weeks is not
conservative,
enough?
they all wanted this issue to be brought back to the states
Or
where the people
whatever,
could vote.
to decide it,
And that's what happened. Now, Ohio, the vote was
9
somewhat
months.
liberal.
Fucking crazy.
Kansas, the vote was somewhat liberal, much more liberal than people would have thought. But each individual state is voting. It's the vote of the people now. It's not tied up in the federal government. I did a great service in doing it. It took courage to do it. And the Supreme Court had great courage in doing it.
Okay, I gotta
And give
find you. What the
tremendous
hell,
credit
man?
to those 6 justices.
There is no state in this country where it is legal to kill a baby after it's born. Madam Vice President, I want to get your response.
This one, why is she
You're
lying?
going to hear a bunch of lies, and that's not actually a surprising fact.
No, it's the truth.
Let's understand how we got here. Donald Trump hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade. And they did exactly as he intended. And now in over 20 states, there are Trump abortion
And that's another thing
bans.
she said. They banned it. They didn't ban it.
Criminal.
They just took the case, said it's not a federal.
doctor or nurse
They
to
kicked it back to the
provide healthcare
states.
In one state, it
So when
provides
she says they're
prison
trying to
for
ban
life.
it, that's a lie.
Trump abortion bans that make no exception even
That's a
for
lie.
rape and incest.
Right there.
To
It's not a
understand
ban.
what that means. A survivor of a crime of violation to their body does not have the right
Here
to
we go
make
with
a
the
decision
drama.
about what happens to their body next. That
This is a
immoral.
weak argument when they,
One does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs to
This is
agree
the lie.
that government,
The incest
Donald Trump
or
certainly should not be telling a
they,
woman what to
they have
do
incest
with
or
her
if
body.
they
I
get,
have talked to
rape,
women
whatever.
around
This is a
our
lie.
country. You want to talk about this is what people wanted?
They still have the right to do it. It's just that, you know what? It's more restrictive. That's all.
Suffering from a miscarriage, being denied
That's a
care
lie.
in an emergency room because the healthcare providers are afraid they might go to jail, and she's bleeding out in a car in the parking lot.
Okay,
She
that's
didn't
the
want
lie.
that. Her husband
Because no
didn't
matter
want that.
what, you still get
A
emergency
12 or
care.
13-year-old survivor of incest being
That's a lie.
forced to
Here we
carry
go
a
with
pregnancy
the,
to
with the,
term.
here we go with the violin, bro. Here we go.
And I pledge to you, when Congress passes a
World's
bill
smallest
to
violin,
put back
baby.
in place the protections of Roe v. Wade, as
This is
president of the
this
United
is the
States, I
only
will proudly
talking
sign
point
it
that she has.
into law. But understand, if Donald Trump were to be reelected,
He's
he
gonna-
will sign a
he's
national
gonna
abortion ban.
ban. Yeah,
Understand,
that's
in
a
his
lie.
budget 2025,
It's a lie.
there
That's
will
a
be
lie.
national abortion, a monitor that would be monitoring your pregnancies, your miscarriages. I think the American people believe
There you go.
that certain
That's how
freedoms,
she get.
in
She's
particular
amped up about
the
this
freedom to make
topic.
decisions about one's own body,
Yeah, she's all amped
should
up.
not be made by the government.
She's
Thank you,
amped
Vice
up.
President Harris.
Well, that shows again. It's
That's a lie.
I'm
There
not
you go.
signing a ban, and there's no to sign a ban.
Thank you.
Because we've gotten what everybody wanted. Democrats, Republicans, and everybody else, and every legal scholar wanted it to be brought back into the states. And the states are voting. And it may take a little time, but for 52 years, this issue has torn our country apart.
Exactly.
And they've wanted it back in the states. And I did something.
Like she
that
thinks
nobody
every
thought
state
was
is the
possible.
same.
The states are now.
I'm sorry, it's not the same.
What she
I
said
live in New
is
York. New York is a
absolutely
very
right.
liberal
And
state.
as far as the abortion ban,
Now, if I go move to Alabama, you better believe that's not the case.
this issue has now been.
That's why it's United States of America. Not every state is a liberal,
Number one, she said she'll go back to Congress.
liberal,
and never get the vote. This is
woohoo,
especially
unicorn
now,
and all that
50-50,
nonsense.
Essentially 50-50
You know?
in both.
And it had different values everywhere you
She's not
go.
gonna get the vote. She can't get the vote. She won't even come close to it. So it's just talk.
She wants to make every state like a liberal state.
Loans terminated, and it ended up being a total catastrophe. The student loans, and then I think probably her boss, if you call him a boss, he spends all his time on the beach. But look, her boss went out and said, "We'll do it again. We'll do it a different way." He went out, got rejected.
That's
again
him at the
by
beach.
Supreme Court. So all these students got.
And the wife is pissed off next to him at the beach. Like she's pissed now.
And how unfair
You seen videos of the first lady now? When she walks in, she didn't even hold his hand no more. She didn't even hold his hand no more. She said, ah, fuck you. He said, fuck you. You didn't want to run again. Now that's it. I don't care what happens to you now. She walks ahead of him now.
Well, I did discuss it with
She didn't help him with the stairs now.
And I don't mind if he has a certain view, but I
She was power hungry, that
I
woman.
really didn't. Look,
she's pissed
we don't
off.
have to discuss it.
Joe
because
Biden is
she's
pissed
never gonna
off.
forget it, just like
She don't
couldn't
even
get
hold the
student
man's
loans,
hand no more.
she
She's
couldn't get
like,
student loans. They didn't even come
you a
close to
quitter.
getting student loans. They taunted
Oh, shit,
young
what happened?
people and a lot of other people that had loans. They can never get this approved. So it doesn't matter what she says about going to Congress. So wonderful. Let's go to Congress. Do it.
Sorry, I'm
But
talking
the
over
fact
the
is
thing.
that for years they wanted to get it out of Congress and out of the federal government, and we did something that everybody said couldn't be done. And now you have a vote of the people on abortion.
Vice President Harris, I want to give you your time to respond, but I do want to ask, would you support any restrictions on a woman's right to an abortion?
I absolutely support reinstating the protections of Roe v. Wade. And as you rightly mentioned, nowhere in America is a woman carrying a pregnancy to term and
But it's not
asking
bad.
for an abortion.
It's
That is
restricted
not
in some
happening,
some states.
to the women of America.
Again,
and
it's
understand
a
what
lie.
has been happening under Donald Trump's abortion bans.
Ban. You keep throwing the word ban. It's a lie.
And
Every time I can have a sip, every time I say ban.
are being denied.
I can say ban, ban.
IVF
Ban. Here we go, ban.
What is happening in our country? Working people, working women
Ban.
who are working 1 or 2 jobs, who can barely afford childcare as it is, have to travel to another state to get on a plane sitting next to strangers to go and get the health care she needs. Barely can afford to do it, and what you are putting her through is unconscionable.
Violin, boy, here we go.
America have not, the majority of Americans
But the
believe
same
that a woman's
is
right to
no.
make
This
decisions
is
about her own body.
notice about the
And
border.
that
She
is
not
why
passionate about the border.
in every
The
state
guy
where
got
this
boy
issue has
killing
been
babies.
passed,
Yeah,
in
here we
red
go.
and blue states both, the people of America have voted for freedom.
Vice President Harris,
Excuse me, I
thank
have
you.
to respond. Another lie. It's another lie.
It's another lie.
I have been a
Exactly.
leader on IVF, which is fertilization. The IVF, I have been a leader. In fact, when they got a very negative decision on IVF from the Alabama courts, I saw the people of Alabama and the legislature 2 days later voted it in. I've been a leader on it. They know that, and everybody else knows it. I have been a leader on fertilization, IVF. And the other thing, you should ask, will she allow abortion in the 8th month, 9th month, 7th month?
Come on.
Okay, would you do that? Why don't you ask
Why-
that?
Answer the question.
That's
The question, would you
Because
veto?
under Roe v.
Answer the
Wade,
question,
you
would you
could,
veto?
you could do abortions in the 7th month, the 8th month, the 9th
That's
month,
not true.
and probably after birth. Just look at the former governor of Virginia. The governor of Virginia said we put the baby aside and then we determine what we want to do with the baby.
President Trump, thank you.
Exactly.
We're going to turn now to immigration.
And he did say that, though.
Security. We know it's an issue that's important.
And they try to call it infanticide.
Across the board in this country.
Infanticide. That's another word they make up. Infanticide, which is murder.
Of migration from Central America. We know that illegal border crossings reached a record high in the Biden administration. This past
These
June,
people are
President Biden
ghouls.
imposed tough new asylum restrictions.
Fucking
We
liberal
know the
ghouls.
numbers
They're
since then
fucking
have
demonic. I
dropped
swear to God.
significantly. But my question to you tonight is,
This
why
is
did the
fucking
administration
lying.
wait until 6 months before the election to act? And would you have done anything differently from President Biden on this?
So I'm the only person on this stage who has prosecuted
Why is she slurring?
transnational criminal organizations for the trafficking of
That's
guns,
not slurry. I don't
drugs,
know.
and human beings. And let me say that the United States Congress, including some of the most conservative members of the United States Senate, came up with a border security bill, which I supported. And that bill would have put 1,500 more border agents on the border.
Yeah, to
and help
process
those
them.
folks who are working there right now overtime, trying to do their job.
To process them. That's
It
it.
would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States. I know there are so many families watching.
Instead of stemming the flow. Why don't you guys, instead of saying stem, why don't you say stop?
That bill would have put more.
We don't want to stem no more. We want to stop it.
Prosecute transnational criminal organizations for trafficking in guns, drugs, and human beings. But you know what happened to that bill? Donald Trump got on the phone, called up some folks in Congress, and said, kill the bill. And you know why? Because he preferred to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And understand, this comes at a time where the people of our country actually need a leader who engages in solutions, who actually addresses the problems at hand. But what we have in the former president is someone who would prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And I'll tell you something, he's going to talk about immigration a lot tonight, even when it's not the subject that is being raised.
Just like
And I'm going to actually do something really unusual.
Because it is a
I'm gonna invite
problem.
you to attend one of Donald Trump's rallies, because it's a really interesting thing to watch. You will see during the course of his rallies, he talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter. He will talk about windmills cause cancer. And what you will also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom. And I will tell you, the one thing you will not hear him talk about is you. You will not hear him talk about your needs, your dreams, and your desires. And I'll tell you, I believe you deserve a president who actually puts you first. And
Yeah, here we go. She's trying to do
President
the.
Harris, thank you. President Trump.
She's trying to do the. I care for you. Have 4 years. You have 4 years to change anything, and you didn't do it in 4 years.
Thousands of additional agents and officers on the border.
You didn't do it in 4 years.
She said people start leaving. People don't go to her rallies. There's no reason to go. And the people that do go, she's bussing them in and paying them.
And paying
to
them.
be there.
There you go.
And then
Boom.
showing them in a different light. So she can't talk about that. People don't leave my rallies. We have the biggest rallies, the most incredible rallies in the history of politics. That's because people want to take their country back. Our country is being lost. We're a failing nation. And it happened 3.5 years ago. And what's going on here, you're going to end up in World War III, just to go into another subject. What they have done to our country by allowing these millions and millions of people to come into our country, and look at what's happening to the towns all over the United States. And a lot of towns don't want to talk. It's not going to be Aurora or Springfield. A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
Yeah.
And this is what's happening.
Yeah, I told you about the wild geese, right? They're chopping their heads off.
As far as rallies are concerned,
People in that third world
the reason they
freaking
go is
shit here.
what I say. They want to bring our country back. They want to make America great again. It's a very simple phrase: make America great again. She's destroying this country. And if she becomes president, this country doesn't have a chance of success. Not only success, we'll end up being Venezuela on steroids.
I just want to clarify here. You bring up Springfield, Ohio, and ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific pets being harmed, injured.
Yeah, you know he's gonna. That's what he's gonna do. He's gonna say, you know, you saw that one coming.
Here, this is the people on television said my dog was taken and used for food. So maybe he said that, and maybe that's a good thing to say for a city manager.
I'm not taking this from
But the
television.
people on
I'm taking it from
television
the city
saying their
manager.
dog was
The
eaten
city
by
manager.
the people that went there.
Again, the Springfield city manager says there's no evidence of that. Vice
We'll
President
find
Harris,
out.
I'll let you respond to the rest of what you've heard.
You talk about extreme. This is, I think, one of the reasons why in this election, I actually have the endorsement of 200 Republicans who have formerly worked with President Bush, Mitt Romney, and John
200
McCain, including the
haters.
endorsement of
Trump haters.
former Vice President Dick Cheney.
Dick Cheney,
a
of course.
Congress member,
And
Liz Cheney.
Porky
And
Pig, whatever.
If you want to really know
Mrs. Piggy,
the inside
the daughter.
track on who the former president is, if he
Liz
doesn't
Cheney,
know
yeah, Miss
already,
Piggy.
just ask people who have worked with him. His former chief of staff, a 4-star general, has said he has contempt for the Constitution of the United States. His former national security advisor has said he is dangerous and unfit. His former secretary of defense has said that nation
Go out there already. Get out of
will
here.
survive another Trump term. And when we listen to this kind of rhetoric, when the issues that affect the American people are not being addressed, I think the choice is clear in this election.
President Trump will give you a quick minute.
The
to
choice is
respond.
not. Stop.
Thank you, because when I hear that, see, I'm a different kind of a person. I fired most of those people, not so graciously. They did bad things or a bad job. I fired them. They never fired one person. They didn't fire anybody having to do with Afghanistan and the Taliban and the 13
Yeah,
people
13, exactly.
who's were just
Nobody got
killed,
fired for that.
viciously and violently killed. And I got to know the parents and the family. They didn't fire. They should have fired all those generals, all those top people, because that was one of the most incompetently handled situations
Exactly.
anybody has ever seen. So when somebody does a bad job, I fire him.
You
And
fired
take
him,
a
that's
guy
right.
Like Esper, he was no good. I fired him, so he writes a book. Another one writes a book, because with me they can write books. With nobody else can they? But they have done such a poor job, and they never fire anybody. Look at the economy. Look at the inflation. They didn't fire any of their economists. They have the same people. That's a good way not to have books written about you. But just to finish, I got
Exactly.
more votes than any Republican in history by far. In fact, I got more votes than any sitting president in history by far.
Let me continue on immigration. It was what you wanted to talk about earlier. So let's get back to your deportation proposal that the vice
Yeah,
president
I say
has
from day
reacted
one,
to
start
as well.
sending them all fucking
President
back.
Trump, you call this the largest domestic deportation operation in the history of our country. You say you would use the National Guard. You say if things get out of control, you have no problem using the U.S.
With local
military.
police, yes.
You also said you would use local police. How would you deport 11 million undocumented immigrants? I know you believe that number is much higher. Take us through this. What does this look like? Will authorities be going door to door in this country?
Well, it is much higher.
You know what he's trying to do, right? He's trying to
They
paint
allow
that
criminals, many
this moderator. He's trying to paint that shit like they're gonna break into everybody's house and drag them out.
To come in, drug dealers to come into our
No, you're gonna
country,
deport the
and now in
criminals
United
first.
States, and told
That's what you're gonna.
their countries,
You know,
like
it's funny. It's,
Venezuela,
you know, like
don't
those guys
ever
that beat up
back
that
or
cop
we're
in
going to
Times
kill
Square.
you. Do you know the crime in
That's it.
Venezuela and
You
crime
come
in
here, you assault
countries all over
anybody.
is way down.
Right there, you get on the next plane, you're going back to your country. That's what they should have done. Instead, they let them out, and they're still running around.
This will be one of the greatest.
So that's where it
mistakes
starts.
in history for them to allow.
Now, this guy's trying to
and I
paint
think
that
they
picture
probably did it 'cause they think
that they're gonna go
get
to
votes,
everybody's house and
but
just
it's
drag
not
them out.
worth it, because they're destroying the
Fucking
fabric
cuck.
of our country by what they've done. There's
This
never
fucking
been
moderator's a
anything
fucking
done like
cuck.
this at all. They've destroyed the
Cuckold.
fabric of our country. Millions of people let in, and
Trying to be all
over the world,
fucking.
crime is down.
He's trying to paint it like the deportation is gonna be like dragging people out in the street.
That they made. Crime in this country is through the roof, and we have a new form of crime. It's called migrant crime.
Exactly.
And it's happening at levels that nobody thought possible.
President Trump, as you know, the FBI says overall violent crime is actually coming down in this country.
See, it's how the FBI. You're gonna believe the FBI? The FBI people. This is the same people that.
The cities with the worst crime. It was a fraud. Just like there are a number of
Exactly.
18,000 jobs that they said
This
they
guy,
created turned out to be a
he
fraud.
trying to challenge it on everything.
Well, I think this is so rich.
So this is a crime is coming down.
Coming
Get the
from
fuck out of
someone who
here.
has been prosecuted for national security
You're not gonna be
economic crimes, election.
common sense tell you
interference,
crime is going up
has been
everywhere.
found
Look at all the shoplifting that happened.
sexual assault.
Look at all the
And his
businesses that are going
last
under.
court appearance is in November at his own criminal
Fucking
sentencing. And let's be
FBI,
clear
the FBI
where
statistics.
each person stands.
A lot of people
on
can't even
the issue of
report
what is
crime.
important about respect for the rule of law.
If you
and
steal
respect
over
for law
under
enforcement.
$1,000, it's
The
not even a
former vice
felony
president
now.
for defunding.
What are you
federal
talking
law
about?
enforcement 45
But they're not gonna report that shit.
agents, Get this, on the day after he was arraigned on 34 felony counts. So let's talk
Here we go with the
about
felony.
what is important.
Here you go. Every time
in
he says she a
this
felony,
case.
I'm gonna have a
It's
zip.
important that we move forward,
Felon.
that we turn the page on this same old tired rhetoric and address
Felon.
the needs of the American people, address what we need to do about the housing shortage, which I have a plan
The
for.
housing shortage.
Address what we must do to
It's not a
secure
housing
small
shortage. We have
businesses.
too many
Address
fucking
what we
illegals
have the
here.
price of
They're not.
groceries.
You get them out of
The
here.
American people are exhausted with this same old
You supposed that housing people are the homeless citizens here.
Every one of
Outta
those
here.
cases was started.
No
by
housing
them
shortage.
against their political opponent, and I'm winning most.
I
of
walk
them.
down the block. There's no housing shortage.
And you saw
There's
that
too
with
many
the
people that
decision
shouldn't
that
be
came
here.
out recently from the Supreme
That's a
Court.
difference.
I'm winning most of them.
When you have too many people in one area, it's called overpopulation, especially people that are not supposed to be here in the first place.
The Justice Department, every one of those cases was involved.
That's how
in
you.
the
That's how you
DOJ
fuck up an economy
and
too.
Fawny
That's what's
Rose
happening in New York
to
City.
the,
They spent $5 billion in the last 4 years
every one
on
of those
illegals.
cases, and then they say,
You tell me that $5 billion couldn't be spent somewhere else?
Made them go after me. By the way, Joe Biden.
And now New York City, they want to pay. They want to pay people $5,000 to move out of New York City.
They said, "Oh, that's the toughest of them all."
I heard this shit today.
Complete and total
$5,000
It was thrown out.
for an illegal
It's
immigrant or migrant, whatever the fuck you want to call them, to move out of New York City. They want to pay you to move out. How about paying me to move out?
Thank you. A really quick response here, Vice President Harris, on
A
this notion of
citizen.
weaponization.
Give me $5,000 to
Well,
move.
let's talk about extreme and understand
Fuck
the
outta
context
here.
in which this election in 2024 is taking place.
This is lying. Yo.
The
These people are
United
just
States Supreme Court
fucking lying.
recently ruled that the former president would essentially be immune from any misconduct if he were to enter the White House again.
I can't hear her talk. She's
Understand
fucking
that
annoying.
this is someone who has openly said he would terminate, I'm quoting, terminate the Constitution of the United States, that he would weaponize the Department of Justice
That's all these
against his
words are
political
weaponized.
enemies. Someone who has openly expressed disdain for members of our military. Understand what it would mean if Donald Trump were back in the White House with no guardrails, because certainly we know now the court won't stop him. We know J.D. Vance is not going to stop him. It's up to the American people.
Vice
to
President
stop
Harris,
him.
thank you. Lindsay?
Vice President Harris, in your last run for president,
This is the one that weaponized, not me. She weaponized. I probably took a bullet to the head because of the things that they say about me. They talk about democracy. I'm a threat to democracy. They're the threat to democracy with a
President
fake Russia investigation
We do have a lot to
that
get-
went nowhere.
We have a lot to get to. Lindsay?
Vice President Harris, in your last run for president, you said you wanted to ban fracking. Now you don't. You wanted mandatory government buyback programs for assault weapons. Now your campaign says you don't. You supported decriminalizing border crossings. Now you're taking a harder line. I know you say that your values have not changed. So then why have so many of your policy
When they
positions
say that
changed?
language about threat to
So,
democracy, of
My
course
values
some of
have
them
not
want to
changed,
shoot
and
you in
I
the
know we've
head.
discussed every one of it, at least every point that you've made, but in particular.
They call that man every name in the
because we're here
book.
Pennsylvania. I made that very clear in 2020. I will not ban fracking. I have not banned fracking as Vice President of the United States. And in fact, I was the tie-breaking vote on the Inflation Reduction Act, which opened new leases for fracking. My position
That's
is
a lie.
that we have got to invest in diverse sources of energy so we reduce our reliance on foreign oil. We have had the largest
Yeah, we reduced that by
increase in
producing our own
domestic oil
oil.
production in
Which
history
we're doing fine.
because of an approach that recognizes that we cannot over rely on foreign oil. As it relates to my values, let me tell you, I grew up a middle class.
Let me go with the
kid
values.
raised by
That's
a
another one she
hardworking
threw at
mother
that.
who worked and saved and was able to buy our first home when I was a teenager. The values I bring to the importance of home ownership, knowing not everybody got handed $400 million on a silver platter and then file bankruptcy 6 times is a value that I bring to my
Newsflash,
work
not
to say we are
even
going
less
to
people can buy their
work with
first
the
home.
private sector and home builders to increase 3 million homes, increase by 3 million homes by the end of my first term. My work that is related to
we're barely holding on to this
a
one
friend when I was in high school who was sexually
because of
assaulted
what?
by her stepfather.
High taxes,
And
people.
my focus then on protecting
We're
women
barely
and
holding on to
children
this
from
one.
violent crime is based on a value
Thank you.
that is deeply grounded in the importance of standing
Imagine
up
when-
for
imagine
those
if
who
you
are
had
most
nothing.
vulnerable. My work that is about protecting Social Security and Medicare is based on long-standing work that I have done, protecting seniors from scams. My values have not changed.
There you go.
And
The
what
values
is
are not
important is
changed.
that there is a
It's a lot
president
she
who
threw at
actually
CNN.
brings
My values are not
and a
changed.
perspective that is about lifting people up and not beating people down and name calling. The true measure of the leader is the leader who actually understands the strength is not in beating people down, it's in lifting people up. I intend to be that president.
President Trump.
No, sometimes you
I
gotta.
wasn't given $400 million. I wish I was. My
Yeah,
father was a
thanks,
Brooklyn
Leo.
builder, Brooklyn, Queens, and a great father, and I learned a lot from him. But I was given a fraction of that, a tiny fraction, and I built it into many, many billions of dollars, many, many billions. And when people see it, they are even surprised. So we don't have to talk about that. Fracking, she's been against it for 12 years. Defund the police, she's been against that forever. She gave all that stuff up very wrongly, very horribly, and everybody's laughing at it, okay? They're all laughing at it. She gave up at least 12 and probably 14 or 15 different policies. Like, she was big on defund the police. In Minnesota, she went out, wait a minute, I'm talking now, if you don't mind, please. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah.
She went out in Minnesota and wanted to let criminals that killed people, that burned down Minneapolis, she went out and raised money to get them out of jail.
Bail them out,
She
exactly.
did things that nobody would ever think of. Now she wants
And her
to
running
do
mate let the cities burn
transgender
down.
operations on illegal aliens that are in prison. This is a radical left liberal that would do this. She wants to confiscate your guns, and she will never allow fracking in Pennsylvania. If she won the election, fracking in Pennsylvania will end on day one. Just to finish one thing so important in my opinion. So I got the oil business going like nobody has ever done before. When they took over, they got rid of it, started getting rid of it, and the prices were going up the roof. They immediately let these guys go to where they were. I would have been 5 times, 4 times, 5 times higher because you're talking about 3.5 years ago. They got it up to where I was because they had no choice because the prices of energy were quadrupling and doubling. You saw what happened to gasoline. So they said, let's go back to Trump. But she won the election. The day after that election, they'll go back to destroying our country and oil will be dead. Fossil fuel will be dead. We'll go back to windmills and we'll go back to solar where they need a whole desert to get some energy to come out. You ever see a solar plant? By the way, I'm a big fan of solar, but they take 400, 500 acres
Exactly.
of desert
President
soil.
Trump, we have a
These
lot
are
of
Exactly.
good things for the
that we have to get
environment.
to.
They should
Like
be
I'm in
saved.
favor of solar too, but you know, it's not gonna be your number one source
And
of
I wanna
energy.
talk about the peaceful transfer of power.
It would never be a
which
one.
is of those
Here we go with the
cornerstones of our
peaceful.
democracy and the role of the president
This
in a
one,
moment of crisis.
this cuckold.
Mr. President, on January 6th, you told your supporters to march to the Capitol. You said you would be right there with them. The country and the world saw what played out at the Capitol that day. The officers
No, he said go and
coming
go.
under attack.
He said go
Aides
peacefully.
in the West Wing say you watched it unfold on television off the Oval Office.
See, this
You did send
this
out
guy,
tweets,
this
but it was
guy,
more than
this
2 hours before you sent out that video message telling your supporters to go home. Is there anything you regret about what
No,
you
he
did on that day?
should have. He said
You
go.
just said a thing that isn't covered peacefully and patriotically.
Exactly.
I said during my speech, not later on.
Exactly.
Peacefully
See, exactly.
and
That's what,
patriotically. And nobody on the other side was killed. Ashley Babbitt was shot.
Exactly.
by an
She's the one that got
African
shot.
Police officer that should have never, ever shot her. It's a disgrace. But we didn't do this group of people that have been treated so badly. I asked, what about
yet every
the people
protester that
have
burned down
come into our
cities,
country and
they're
killing
not in
people?
prison
She
now.
allowed deported. She was the border czar. Remember that. She was the border czar.
But you got
She's
these
the
people
one
that
who
some
put
people
the
are still
borders
in
up
jail
because she's
from
embarrassed by
January
the border. In fact,
6th.
she said at the beginning,
They just happened to
"Oh,
wander
suppose
into
you're
the
not
building.
talking
They
about
didn't
the
know
border
what was going
yet."
on.
That's because she knows what a bad job they've done.
Fucking
What about those people? When are they going to be prosecuted? When are these people from countries all over the world, not just South America? They're coming in from all over the world, David, all over the world. And crime rates are down all over the world because of it.
But let me just
when are those, David, when are those people going to be prosecuted? When are the people that burned down Minneapolis going to be prosecuted?
Exactly.
Or in Seattle?
Or the one that burned down the police
They took over
station.
a big percentage of the city of Seattle. When are those people going to be prosecuted?
But let me just ask
You might ask her that question.
You were the president. You were watching it unfold on television. It's a very simple question as we move forward toward another election. Is there anything you regret about what you did on that day?
No.
Yes,
I had nothing to do with that.
Exactly,
Other
had
than
nothing to
they
do
asked
with
me to make a speech. I showed up for a speech. I said, I think it's going to be big. I went to
Exactly.
Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of Washington, D.C.
And by the way, they
and
asked the
mayor
National
put
Guard.
back
He
in
didn't, they
writing,
didn't
as
shit.
you know. I
The
said,
mayor
you
didn't
know,
even,
this
you
is
know,
going to be a very big rally, or
January
whatever you
6th,
want
they
to
was
call
bringing
it.
up that
But
bullshit.
again, it wasn't done by me. It was done by others. I said, I'd like to give you 10,000 National Guard or soldiers. They rejected me. Nancy Pelosi rejected me. It was just 2 weeks ago. Her daughter has a tape of her saying she is fully responsible for what happened. They want to get rid of that tape. It would have never happened if Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of Washington
Exactly.
did their jobs. I wasn't responsible for security. Nancy Pelosi.
Just like
was
Minnesota, same
responsible.
thing.
She didn't do her job.
The question
The
was
governor is the one that has the
President
power to bring the
former
National
Speaker
Guard.
Pelosi, but I do want Vice President Harris to respond here.
I was at the Capitol on January 6th. I was the vice president-elect. I was also an acting senator. I was there. And on that day, the president of the United States incited a violent mob to attack
This is
our nation's capital.
this is what they're trying to do. They just want to paint
Our
that guy.
nation's capital.
They're trying to paint that picture that, in other words, if he doesn't get elected now,
were injured.
there's going to be another one.
And understand, the former
That's
president.
what the word.
has been
Remember what he said
indicted and
about the
impeached
auto union,
for exactly that reason.
the auto jobs. It's going to be a
This is not an
bloodbath.
isolated
So they're
situation.
using that word
Let's
too.
remember, Charlottesville.
It's going to be a bloodbath if he doesn't win. Oh my God!
A mob of people carrying tiki torches, spewing anti-Semitic hate.
Now she's going back to that
And what did
Charlottesville
the
lie.
president then at the time say?
Don't
There
when
were
Biden.
five
That's what
people on each
Biden.
side.
The same shit that
Let's remember
Biden. With veins bulging over there.
Militia. The president said, the former president said, stand back and stand by.
Oh,
So for everyone watching who remembers what January 6th was, I say, we don't have to go back. Let's not go back. We're not going back. It's time to turn the page. And if that was a bridge too far for you, well, there is a place in our campaign for you to stand for country, to stand for our democracy, to stand for rule of law, and to end the
She
chaos.
doesn't. She can't answer questions. She
And
just
to
says her.
end the approach that is about attacking the foundations of our democracy because you don't like the outcome. And be clear on that point. Donald Trump, the candidate, has said in this election there will be a bloodbath.
Maybe I said that.
And the outcome of
Did
this
I not?
election
That's about auto workers. That's not about the.
Let's turn the
See?
page on this. Let's not
I called it.
Let's chart a course for the future and not go back.
I just not called it about the bloodbath.
It was a different term, and it was a
No, you're so
term
fucking
related
predictable,
to
bro.
energy, because they
You're so
destroyed
fucking
our energy
predictable.
business. That was what bloodbath was. Also, on Charlottesville, that story has been, as you would say, debunked.
Exactly.
Laura Ingraham, Sean Hannity, Jesse, all of these people, they covered it. If they go an extra sentence, they will see it was perfect.
They were-
It
they're
was
fake
debunked
talking
in almost
points.
every newspaper. But
That's
they
I
still
called
do it.
that,
They
right?
say
She's
they
gonna say
bring
bloodbath.
20,
There you
25.
go.
They bring all of this stuff up.
And
I
if
asked
you
for
play
this to
that clip,
talk
it's about the auto workers.
Why are we allowing these
So,
millions
what
of
happens is
people
the
to
auto
come
workers
through on the
endorse
southern border? How come she's not
Biden.
doing anything? And I'll tell you what I would do, and I would be
And
very
he
proud to
said
do.
that they
I would
you know, he basically said that how can you endorse somebody that wants to do the EV mandate and all the electric vehicles are coming from other countries? That's what's going to destroy the auto workers. In other words, it was going to be a bloodbath. Has nothing to do with this transfer of power nonsense. You see how they take that word and they try to jam it into something else? So fucking predictable. Unfortunately, a lot of people out there actually believe that.
He signs a bill that the border is closed. All he has to do is say it to the border.
Exactly.
It's phenomenal. If they do that, the border is closed. Those people are killing many people, unlike J6.
We talked immigration here tonight. I do want to focus on this next issue to both of you because it really brings us this into focus, truth in these times that we're living in. Mr. President, for 3.5 years after you lost the 2020 election, you repeatedly falsely claimed that you won, many times saying you won in a landslide.
Yeah, he falsely claimed. No, he has a right to say that.
You have said, quote,
you have a right to contest any outcome. Even if you're a defendant in court, you have a right to appeal. So you don't have to agree with a decision. Last time I checked, that's part of our basic human rights. I don't have to agree with what you
So much proof.
I don't have to agree with you.
And they should have sent it back to the legislatures for approval.
Exactly.
I got almost 75 million votes, the most votes any sitting president has ever gotten. I was told if I got 60.
Exactly. How the fuck that bumbling old fuck got 81 million votes?
The election,
get out of here.
People should never be thinking about it. An election is fraudulent. We need two things. We need walls. And we have to have it. We have to have borders. And we have to have good elections.
And how is it that some states can declare a winner in the same night, and some states take like fucking 3 months? Are you kidding me?
And these people
are trying
to get them to vote. And
like we need to have a universal standard. That's it.
I did watch all of these pieces of video.
You know, you count the votes by this time at night. That's it. It's done. Not, you know, some states fucking drag on for like 2 months.
They said,
get out of here.
That's the other thing. They said we didn't have standing, a technicality. Can you imagine a system where a person in an election doesn't have standing? The president of the United States doesn't have standing. That's how we lost. If you look at the facts, and I'd love to have you do a special on it, I'll show you Georgia, and I'll show you Wisconsin, and I'll show you Pennsylvania, and I'll show you. We have so many facts and statistics, but you know what? That doesn't matter because we have to solve the problem that we have right now. That's old news. And the problem that we have right now is we have a nation in decline, and they have put it into decline.
Exactly.
We have a nation that is dying.
And believe it or not, I have no faith in the voting system. I'm going to vote on the same day. Last time I voted, I mailed it in.
He did not lose.
I shouldn't have done that. I should have just went there. It is not going to matter. When they're going to try to fix it, they want a handful of states that's going to decide this whole thing.
About this upcoming election.
And that's what happened. A handful of states forgot how to count accurately and started bringing in boxes of all this other stuff.
Which will include long-term prison sentences. One of your campaign's top
dead people voting,
saying we won't let Donald Trump intimidate us. We won't let him suppress the vote. Is that what you believe he's trying to do here?
Not Johnson.
Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people. So let's be clear about that. And clearly he is having a very difficult time processing that.
She's trying to get on their skin now.
We cannot afford to have a president of the
United States. He fired him.
Who attempts, as he did in the past, to upend the will of the voters.
And like I said, listen, I'll be honest with you. I told my wife this.
I'm going to tell you that
if she wins, I'm going to take my lawn chair again, and we're going to watch the destruction of this country.
Laughing at Donald Trump.
She's going to finish it off.
I have talked with military leaders, some of whom work
with you,
and they say you're a disgrace. And when you then talk in this way, in a presidential
and from what I'm watching on TikTok and all that, a lot of people are not going to vote for her.
Over and over again, our court cases you have
and they see right through her.
Because you did, in fact, lose that election.
I mean, like I said, okay, even if you lost that election, you have 4 years to.
Not have in the candidates
you're there now. You're there now.
Or,
for another
the ability to not be confused.
Officially 3 more months, right?
That's deeply troubling. And
you can fix the border right now.
Better.
The stroke of a pen.
Let me just say about world leaders. Viktor Orban, one of the most respected men, they call him a strong man. He's a tough person, smart. Prime Minister of Hungary. They said, why is the whole world blowing up? 3 years ago, it wasn't. Why is it blowing up? He said, because you need Trump back as president. They were afraid of him.
Yeah, leader
China
Hungary.
was afraid, and I don't like to use the word
Hungary's
afraid,
border
but I'm just
is
quoting him.
solid.
China was afraid of him. North Korea
I see
was
videos
afraid of him. Look at
like
what's going on with North Korea, by the way.
go on
He
YouTube.
said
Look at the
Russia was
videos
afraid of
on
him.
Hungary,
I
the
ended
border.
Nord Stream 2 pipeline, and Biden
Talk about a tight border.
but he ended the XL.
Nobody
pipeline.
getting in that border.
The XL pipeline in our country, he ended that. But he let the Russians build a pipeline going all over Europe and heading into Germany, the biggest pipeline in the world. Look, Viktor Orban said it. He said the most respected, most feared person is Donald Trump. We had no problems when Trump was president, but when this weak, pathetic man that you saw at a debate just a few months ago, that if he weren't in that debate, he'd be running in Senator. He got no votes. He got 14 million votes. What you did,
Yeah.
you talk about a threat to democracy. He got 14 million votes, and they threw him out of office.
Exactly.
And
They
you
put
know
this.
what? I'll give you a little secret. He hates her. He can't stand her. But he
Exactly.
got 14 million votes. They threw him out. She got 0 votes. And when she ran, she was the first one to leave because she failed. And now she's running. I don't understand it, but
Mr.
I'm okay
President,
with it because
Exactly.
Your time
I
is
think
up.
we're going to do very well.
We've got a lot more to get to.
Turning now
Exactly.
to Israel Hamas.
She's that
war and
unelected,
hostages who are still being held in
coronated
Israel's
fucking
Vice President Harris in December
nominated
Democratic
Democratic. Get the fuck out of here. He's right.
Matters how, saying international humanitarian law must.
If she would have ran in the primary, she would have lost.
To protect innocent civilians. You said that 9 months.
They should have
ago,
done a mini
estimated
primary, and she
40,000
would have lost anyway.
Palestinians are dead. Nearly 100 hostages remain.
Fuck you,
Just
talk about
last week, Prime Minister
democracy.
Benjamin
Fuck outta
Netanyahu
here.
said there's not a deal in the making. President Biden has not been able to break through the stalemate. How would you do it?
Well, let's understand how we got here. On October 7, Hamas, a terrorist organization, slaughtered 1,200 Israelis. Many of them young
Now
people
she's gonna talk
who were
about Gaza,
simply
watch.
attending a concert.
All the poor people in
They were
Gaza.
horribly raped.
Watch.
And so absolutely, I said then, I say now, Israel has a right to defend itself. We will.
But,
And how it does so matters. Because it is also true, far too many innocent Palestinians have been killed. Children, mothers.
you have to play both
What
sides of
we
the
know
fence.
is that
No,
this
they
war
attacked
must end.
Israel.
It must end immediately, and the way
They're
it will
suffering
end is
because
we need
they
a
attack
ceasefire
Israel.
Deal, and we need the hostages.
They wouldn't be suffering
And
if
so
they didn't
we
attack
continue
Israel.
to work around the clock on that. Work around.
So she's
the
trying to
clock,
peace to the
also
Muslims now.
understanding
Here
that
we go.
must chart a course for
Two-state
peace.
solution.
And in that solution, there must be security for the Israeli people and Israel, and in equal measure for the Palestinians. But the one thing I will assure you always, I will always give Israel the ability to defend itself, in particular as it relates to Iran and any threat that Iran and its proxies pose to Israel. But we must have
That's
a
why you gave
two-state
them money.
solution where we can rebuild Gaza.
They give them,
where the
then they give them like
Palestinians
$30 billion
have
or whatever.
security, self-determination,
That's a lie.
and
That's
the
a lie.
dignity they so rightly deserve.
President Trump, how would you negotiate with Netanyahu and also Hamas in order to get the hostages out and prevent the killing of more innocent civilians in Gaza?
If I were president, it would have never started. If I were president, Russia would have never, ever, I know Putin very well, he would have never, and there was no threat of it either, by the way, for 4 years, have gone into Ukraine and killed millions of people when you add it up, far worse than people understand what's going on over there. But when she mentions about Israel, all of a sudden, she hates Israel. She wouldn't even meet with Netanyahu
Exactly.
when he went to Congress to make a very
Exactly.
important
When he made that
She
speech.
refused to be there because she was at a sorority party.
Yeah,
of hers.
exactly,
She
sorority
wanted to go
party.
to the sorority party. She hates Israel. If she's president, I believe that Israel will not exist within 2 years from now. And I've been pretty good at predictions, and I hope I'm wrong about that one. She hates Israel. At the same
Yeah,
time, in her own way,
Jewish
she
guys
hates
out there
the
keep voting
Arab
for blue. There you go.
population, because the whole place is going to get blown
Jewish
up.
guys gonna vote for a Jew
Arabs,
hater. There you go.
Jewish people, Israel will be gone. It would have never
Stop
happened.
voting for these people that
Iran
don't
was
care about your
broke
country.
Under Donald Trump. Now Iran has $300 billion because they took off all the sanctions that I had.
I don't understand how people can
had
vote
no
for someone
money
that
for
that hates their
Hamas
own
or
country.
Hezbollah or any of the 28 different spheres of terror. And they are spheres of terror, horrible terror. They had no money. It was a big story, and you know it. You covered it very well, actually. They had no money for terror. They were broke. Now they're a rich nation.
Exactly.
And now what they're doing is they're spreading that money around. Look at what's happening with the Houthis and Yemen. Look at what's going on in the Middle East. This would have never happened. I will get that settled and fast, and I'll get the war with Ukraine and Russia ended. If I'm president-elect, I'll get it done before even becoming president.
Vice President Harris, he says you hate Israel.
That's absolutely not true. I have my entire career and life supported Israel and the Israeli people. He knows that. He's trying to, again, divide and distract from the reality, which is it is very well known that Donald Trump is weak and wrong on national security and foreign policy. It is well known that he admires dictators, wants to be a dictator on day one, according to himself.
So that's a lie.
It is well known that he said of Putin that he can do whatever the hell he wants and go into Ukraine. It is well known that he said when Russia went into Ukraine, it was brilliant. It is well known he exchanged love letters with Kim Jong-un. And it is absolutely well known that these dictators and autocrats are rooting for you to be president again because they're so clear. They can manipulate you with flattery and favors.
And that's already been clear.
Why so many military leaders who you have worked with have told me you are a disgrace. That is why we understand that we have to have a president who is not consistently weak and wrong on national security, including
he's trying to get under his skin with a
holding and respecting and
that's a lie. You know that.
Our military.
Vice President Harris, thank you.
And she's
you know how, you know what it is to go to the 38th parallel?
Security by allowing every nation,
North Korean right there, and he just jumped over into North Korea just to show him that, you know what, he's going to.
Their crime rates are way down.
You know, nobody ever did that. I was shocked when he did that.
She wins, and I think he meant it because what he's gotten away
with. And of course, they called a photo op.
Incredible. It wouldn't have happened with.
Then he crossed over, and then he went into the South Korean side. That's a big deal. That's never happened.
And they're grossly incompetent.
That never happened.
Just ask one question: why does Biden go in and kill the Keystone Pipeline and approve?
So that's a lie. Well, that's just a lie.
That Russia's ever made, Nord Stream 2, the biggest pipeline anywhere in the world, going to Germany and all over Europe, because they're weak and they're ineffective. And Biden, by the way, gets paid.
And by the way, when you want to be respected, sometimes you know what? You got to be fair. And they don't respect these people. They don't respect her. They're not going to respect her. They don't respect Biden.
When your personal safety,
that's why they invaded.
You have a right to defend yourself, but it's your responsibility to do so wisely. You may want to reach right for your firearm, but many legal experts say that should be your last resort. Consider a tool that empowers you to de-escalate threats without taking a life. Byrna is a less lethal self-defense weapon with tear gas and kinetic impact ammunition. Its formidable power can stop.
Why is he on? Is it a break? I'm still delayed here.
Between ending a confrontation and starting a tragedy. Made in the heart of America, Fort Wayne, Indiana, Byrna is a symbol of strength and a beacon of responsibility. It's legal in all 50 states, no background checks required, and they even ship straight to your doorstep.
Yeah.
So visit Byrna.com.
Yeah, so far he's just repeating the same nonsense.
That's BYRNA.com/.
Alexa, volume 3. Yeah, so far she's just repeating the same talking point. The same talking point she keeps repeating. That's it. Like there's nothing scripted. You know, that's her preparation. She prepared, memorized talking points. So far, that's it. She doesn't have a plan. She still doesn't have a plan. You know? And of course, the moderators, they just they challenge Trump. They don't challenge her. So we expect that anyway. You know, I'm not surprised there, especially that guy, the cuckold. You know, like when he said about the crime. I mean, it's obvious that you know, when especially in Times Square and all that, you see it. You saw the videos. Aurora, Colorado, those people and taking over the buildings and all that. Crime went up everywhere because a lot of it is because you know illegals. There's even a video out there that Chicago street gangs said openly, don't bring that shit over here to Chicago because we got switches. I don't know what they mean by switches. I guess they're talking about, you know, weapons. Like, in other words, don't come over here with that gangbang mentality thing that you're gonna take over Chicago, because a lot of people in Chicago, they, you know, especially the African American community and all that, they're not happy about, they're not thrilled about this illegal immigration taking over their resources. It's the fact. Everywhere you go, you know, you got homeless veterans out there, homeless citizens, and you can't put them at a hotel. You know how much is a hotel? You know how much is a hotel room in Manhattan? It's not $100 a night. Try at least $500 a night. Maybe $300 a night if you're lucky. Okay? And that's where they're at. A lot of them are in those hotels. $300 a night in the middle of Manhattan, prime real estate. Now you walk down the street over there, it looks like a third world country. They're all hanging out in the street. And women with like three or four kids out in the street. And guys are just hanging there playing around, messing with their scooters, their e-bikes and all that, collecting. Bankrupting the country. New York City's bankrupt because of that fucking mayor. That crooked fucking mayor. And by the way, Caban, you know what? Sliwa called it. He called it right down. He called it. Now that guy is corrupt because of his brother. Because of Club Sofrito and all that. I know that area. And I remember Jimmy's Cafe. And I knew, back then when I lived in the Bronx, I knew Jimmy's Cafe was a drug spot. Sliwa knew that. I could have told you that. Because I knew drug dealers that used to dine in Jimmy's Cafe. Okay? I grew up in the Bronx. I knew Dominican drug dealers that used to hang out in Jimmy's Cafe. So so you know, Eddie Caban's brother, that's right. They know where they hanged out with him. Now, I could have told you that. Because I know that for a fact. Of course, Jimmy's Cafe is not there no more. Now it's a steakhouse. I think Dallas Barbecue, whatever the hell it's called now. Jimmy's Cafe was notorious for drug dealing. Drug dealers, big time drug dealers used to go in there. And rap artists used to go in there. They were going there because, of course, you know, gangster and all that, you know, all that. I was known back in the 90s by Jimmy's Cafe. So he was in that crowd. So of course his fucking guys corrupt. They're all corrupt. And I hope they fucking all get locked up. And that mayor in New York City is a fucking buffoon. He's a fucking idiot. He's a buffoon. And Eddie Caban, he's never around anyway. He was never around. So you know what? I'm glad they're fucking investigating all of them. Hope they all get locked up. I could have told you that. Sliwa called it on the video. People call Sliwa crazy, a conspiracy guy. Well, he's a street guy. That's why people like him, like me. You know, yeah, I think he's on too many times, but I understand his lingo because I'm a street guy. I grew up in the street, and I know what he's talking about when he talks about all these neighborhoods, all these things, and when he talks about Jimmy's Cafe and all that, and Tremont Avenue, the Sofrito, Club Sofrito, and there's another shrimp place down there. There's a whole bunch of Dominican restaurants. They're all drug money. I could have told you that. You can put me on the radio and I'll tell you the same thing he's saying. What are you talking about? Alexa, play WABC.
Playing WABC radio.
Biden, how would you respect him? Why? For what reason? He hasn't even made a phone call in 2 years to Putin, hasn't spoken to anybody. They don't even try to get it. That is a war that's dying to be settled. I will get it settled before I even become president. If I win, when I'm president-elect, and what I'll do is I'll speak to one, I'll speak to the other, I'll get them together. That war would have never happened. And in fact, when I saw Putin after I left, unfortunately left because our country has gone to hell. But after I left, when I saw him building up soldiers, he did it after I left. I said, oh, he must be negotiating. It must be a good, strong point of negotiation. Well, it wasn't, because Biden had no idea how to talk to him. He had no idea how to stop it. And now you have millions of people dead, and it's only getting worse, and it could lead to World War III. Don't kid yourself, David. We're playing with World War III, and we have a president that we don't even know if he's. Where is our president? We don't even know if he's a president.
And just to clarify
they
here,
threw him out of a campaign like a dog. We don't even know. Is he our president? But we have a president,
Mr. President,
that doesn't know he's alive.
your time is up. Just to clarify in the question, do you believe it's in the U.S. best interests for Ukraine to win this war? Yes or no?
I think it's the U.S. best interest to get this war finished and just get it done. Negotiate a deal, because we have to stop all of these human lives from being destroyed.
I want to take this to Vice President.
Exactly.
Harris. I want to get your thoughts on support for Ukraine.
Not about winning or losing. At this point, it's a stalemate.
Elected. How would you deal with Vladimir Putin, and would it be any different from what we're seeing from President Biden?
Well, first of all, it's important to remind the former president, you're not running against Joe Biden, you're running against me.
Oh, Biden. Did she just say oh, Biden?
The reason that Donald Trump says that
he said oh, Biden. She just said oh, Biden.
And that's not who we are as Americans. Let's understand what happened here.
Oh, Biden. Freudian slip, yeah.
A few days before.
In other words, Obama runs Biden. Oh, Biden. That's what we keep saying. That's a Freudian slip. Oh, Biden.
One of the most important international rules and norms, which is the importance of sovereignty and territorial integrity. And I met with President Zelensky. I shared with him American intelligence about how he could defend himself. Days later, I went to NATO's eastern flank, to Poland and Romania. And through the work that I and others did, we brought 50 countries together to support Ukraine in its righteous defense. And because of our support, because of the air defense, the ammunition, the artillery, the javelins, the Abrams tanks that we have provided, Ukraine stands as an independent and free country. If Donald Trump were president, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv right now. And understand what that would mean, because Putin's agenda is not just about Ukraine. Understand why the European allies.
By the way, Ukraine is a corrupt country.
Are so thankful.
We already knew that before the war happened.
And that we.
So you know what? I'm going to say we don't owe them shit.
The greatest military alliance the
world
has ever known, which is NATO.
And they're not part of NATO. We don't owe them shit. And by the way, they would have never got invaded in the first place because of what Trump said. Just out of fear, it would have never even been. So this whole thing that she's talking about now wouldn't be happening anyway.
100,000 Polish Americans right here in Pennsylvania. How quickly you would give up for the sake of favor and what you think is a friendship with what is known to be a dictator who would eat you for lunch.
Vice President Harris, thank you. We've heard from both of you on Ukraine tonight. Afghanistan came up in the last.
What do you think he's gonna?
I wanted her to respond to something you said earlier, and I'll give you a minute here.
Putin would be sitting in Moscow, and he wouldn't have lost 300,000 men.
Exactly, because they lost a lot of people.
But he would have been sitting in Moscow. Quiet, please. He would have been sitting in Moscow.
Quiet.
Much happier than he is right now. But eventually, he's got a thing that other people don't have. He's got nuclear weapons. They don't ever talk about
exactly
nuclear weapons.
If he wants, he can just nuke fucking Ukraine and wipe off the fucking country and say, you know what, have that.
Hasn't been that threatening, but he does.
And you don't understand that.
Something we don't even like to talk about. Nobody likes to talk about it.
And by the way, they're not giving Ukraine everything. They just gave them F-16s finally.
3 days later, he went in and he started the war. Because everything they said was weak and stupid.
Exactly.
They said the wrong things. That war should have never started. She was the emissary. They sent her in to negotiate with Zelensky and Putin, and she did. and the war started 3 days later. And that's the kind of talent we have with her. She's worse than Biden. In my opinion, I think he's the worst president in the history of our country. She goes down as the worst vice president in the history of our country. But let me tell you something.
What a punch.
She is a horrible negotiator. They sent her in to negotiate. As soon as they left, Putin did the invasion.
President Trump, thank you. You did bring up something. You said she went to negotiate with Vladimir Putin. Vice President Harris, have you ever met Vladimir Putin? Can you clarify tonight?
Yet again, I said at the beginning of this debate, you're going to hear a bunch of lies coming from this fellow. And that is another one. When I went to meet with President Zelensky, I've now met with him over 5 times. The reality is,
but she didn't met with Putin.
About standing as America always
she didn't do shit. That's a lie.
As a leader, upholding international rules and norms. As a leader who shows strength, understanding that the alliance
all they did was call them names.
The world
I remember that whole thing.
Dependent on our ability to look out for our friends.
When they had those troops outside Ukraine, the tanks are ready. What Biden said, he called them a thug and all that right away. Instead of saying
about democracy.
You know,
that is very
negotiator warning him at least.
The president of the United States.
And what was his warning?
Doomed. The American people have a
what you say to Putin? Doomed.
On a president.
Like that's not fucking forceful.
The significance of America's role and responsibility in terms of ensuring that there is stability and ensuring we stand up for our principles and not sell them for the benefit of personal flattery.
We talked about Ukraine and Vladimir Putin.
Speaking of selling, bring up the
in the first hour of this debate. I wanted to move on to Afghanistan.
Said Trump did the most amazing thing I've ever seen. He got these countries, the 28 countries at the time, to pay up. He said, I've never seen. He's the head of NATO. He said, I've never seen. For years, we were paying almost all of NATO. We were being ripped off by European nations, both on trade and on NATO. I got them to pay up by saying one of the statements.
Exactly, pay your fair share.
If you don't pay, we're not going to protect you. Otherwise, we would have never gotten it.
Exactly.
He said it was one of the most incredible jobs that he's ever seen done.
Thank you. I want to turn to Afghanistan. It came up in the first hour of the debate, and we witnessed a poignant moment today on Capitol Hill, honoring the soldiers who died in the chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan. I do want to ask the Vice President, do you believe you bear any responsibility in the way that
exactly say that? Answer that question.
Well, I will tell you, I agreed with President Biden's decision to pull out of Afghanistan. 4 presidents said they would, and Joe Biden did.
And that's not what he asked you.
And as a result, America's taxpayers are not paying the $300 million a day we were paying for that endless war. And as of today, there is not one member of the United States military who is in active duty in a combat zone in any war zone around the world, the first time this century. But let's understand how we got to where we are. Donald Trump, when he was president, negotiated one of the weakest deals you can imagine. He calls himself a deal maker. Even his national security advisor said it was a weak, terrible deal. And here's how it went down. He bypassed the Afghan government. He negotiated directly with a terrorist organization called the Taliban. The negotiation involved the Taliban getting 5,000 Taliban terrorists released. And get this, and the president at the time invited the Taliban to Camp David, a place of storied significance for us as Americans, a place where we honor the importance of American diplomacy, where we invite and receive respected world leaders. And
that's a lie. You know, right? That's another lie.
Former president, as president, invited them to Camp David because he does not again appreciate the role and responsibility of the president of the United States to be commander-in-chief with a level of respect. And this gets back to the point of how he has consistently disparaged and demeaned members of our military, fallen soldiers, and the work that we
there you go. She's gonna bring up the whole
strength and the
and there was suckers. Watch.
That's coming around the world.
Vice President Harris, thank you. President Trump.
She wants to bring that line in. Oh, he called them suckers.
So
she's gonna watch the next.
If you take a look at that period of time, the Taliban was killing
another one line. You know,
soldiers,
she says that.
A lot of them with snipers, and I got involved with the Taliban. Because the Taliban was doing the killing. That's the fighting force within Afghanistan. They don't bother doing that because, you know, they deal with the wrong people all the time. but I got involved. And Abdul is the head of the Taliban. He is still the head of the Taliban. And I told Abdul, don't do it anymore. You do it anymore, you're going to have problems. And he said, why do you send me a picture of my house? I said, you're going to have to figure that out, Abdul. And for 18 months, we had nobody killed. We did have an agreement negotiated by Mike Pompeo.
People like that, you just show them the picture of the house.
The reason it was good, it was, we were getting out. We would have been out faster than that. But
in other words, we're going to get out, and we're going to leave a few people, and if anybody gets hurt, there's a picture of your house. Remember that. That's what he did.
$85 billion worth of brand new, beautiful military equipment behind. And just to finish, they blew it. The agreement said you have to do this, and they didn't do it. They didn't do it. The agreement was terminated by us because they didn't do what they were supposed to do.
I want to move on.
And these people did the worst withdrawal, and in my opinion, the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. And by the way, that's why Russia attacked Ukraine, because they saw how incompetent she and her boss are.
President Trump, thank you. I want to move on now to race and politics in this country. Mr. President, you recently said of Vice President Harris, quote, I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black.
Yeah, because she's Indian.
Why do you believe it's appropriate to weigh
he tries to frame him like
of your opponent?
I don't, and I don't care. I don't care what she is. I don't care. You make a big deal out of something. I couldn't care less. Whatever she wants to be is okay with me.
But those were your words. So I'm
I
asking.
don't know. I don't know. I mean, all I can say is I read where she was not black, that she put out, and I'll say that. And then I read that she was black, and that's okay. Either one was okay.
By the way, she changes her.
To her.
By the way, she changes her voice. That's the video we talks to.
I think it's. I mean, honestly, I think it's a tragedy that we have someone who wants to be president who has consistently over the course of his career attempted to use race to divide the American people. You know, I do believe that the vast majority of us know that we have so much more in common than what separates us, and we don't want this kind of approach that is just constantly trying to divide us, and especially by race. And let's remember how Donald Trump started. He was.
You mean DEI? Yeah, DEI. Yeah, that's when they call people a DEI candidate. That's right.
He was
no merit
because he.
Just like how you got your job, no merit.
Property to black families. Let's remember, this is the same individual.
No merit.
Who took out a full-page ad in the New York Times, calling for the execution of 5 young Black and Latino boys who were innocent, the Central Park 5.
And they were innocent. At the time, they were criminals.
Took out
they
a
were accused of. And by the way, they weren't exonerated.
This is the same individual who spread.
They were cleared because somebody else said they could have. You know, that's a lie. It's another lie.
And I think the American people want better than that. Want better than this. Want someone who understands, as I do. I travel our country. We see in each other a friend. We see in each other a neighbor. We don't want a leader who is constantly trying to have Americans point their fingers at each other. I meet with people all the time who tell me, can we please just have discourse about how we're going to invest in the aspirations and the ambitions and the dreams of the American people? Knowing
when you're talking to people like that, is their way or you get canceled.
We all have the same dreams and aspirations and want a president who invests in those, not in hate and division.
That's a lie. And by the way, that whole thing about taking money away from the rich and taxing them.
This is the most.
By the way, the rich people are the ones that provide the jobs.
In the history of our country.
So when you tax the shit out of the rich, what happens to the rich? They're gonna move somewhere else.
Destroying our country. And they come up
with no concept of economics.
What she just said, going back many years, when a lot of
Kumbaya bullshit.
Bloomberg agreed with me on the Central Park 5. They admitted, they said, they pled guilty.
And by the way, they confessed, exactly.
And I said, well, if they pled guilty,
they admitted. If you commit a crime, or if you never commit a crime, would you confess to a crime that you never committed? No.
We're not guilty. But this is a person that has to stretch back years, 40, 50 years ago. because there's nothing now.
That
I
happened
built one
40
of the
years ago.
greatest economies in
I
the
remember that
history
case,
of the
Central Park
world,
5.
and I'm going to build it again. It's going to be bigger, better, and stronger.
I remember that
But they're
case,
destroying
Central
our
Park 5.
economy. They have no idea what a good economy is.
They raped that woman.
Policies, every single policy.
They were
And
wilding
remember
out.
this, She is Biden. You know, she's
And I
trying
know
to get
that
away
term,
from Biden.
wilding.
I
They're
don't know
wilding.
the
That means they
term
were
that she
going
says.
around
She is Biden.
punching
The
people,
worst inflation
punching
we've
people
ever
who
had.
want, and they
A
found that
horrible
woman and they
economy
raped her in the
because
park. That's what
inflation has
happened.
made it so
And when you
bad
admit, when
that
you
you can't
confess
get
to a
away
crime,
with
that
that.
means that you know what?
Briefly. Clearly, I am not Joe Biden, and I am certainly not Donald Trump. And what I do offer is a new generation of leadership for our country.
A new generation.
One who believes in what is possible, one who brings a sense of optimism.
First of all,
about
you're
what
my
we can
age.
do instead
You're basically
of
almost my
always
age.
disparaging the American people. I believe in what we can do to strengthen our small businesses, which is why I have a plan. Let's talk about our plans and let's compare the plans. I have a plan to give startup businesses $50,000 tax deduction.
By the way, you can't give everybody
to pursue
$50,000 start a
their
business.
ambitions, their innovation, their ideas, their hard work.
Even I
have a
know
plan,
that
$6,000
9 out of 10 businesses
for
that
young
start
families for the first year of your child's
never
life
make it to the
to
next
help
year.
you in that most critical
That is a
stage of
fact.
your child's development. I have a plan that is
Most
about
businesses, even
allowing
if you
people
give
to
them
be able to
$50,000,
pursue what has been fleeting
will
in
fail
terms of
within the first
American
year.
dream by offering a help with down
What do you think that's gonna do?
$25,000 down payment assistance.
So that means I can say, you know,
for
I want to start a business
homeowners.
right now. Oh, give me
That's the kind of
$50,000.
conversation I believe, David, that people really
And I'll
want
probably
to
fail
know,
that business.
as opposed to a conversation that is constantly about belittling
You know?
and name
That makes no
calling.
sense.
Let's turn the page.
Vice President
and move
Harris.
forward.
You can't give everybody 50. In other words, you're gonna walk down the block, there's gonna be 10 bodegas right next to each other. You think that's gonna last?
She has a plan to
Out of the 10
confiscate
bodegas in that next
everybody's
block, how
gun.
many bodegas are gonna be gone by the following year? Probably 7 out of 10.
That's what her plan is until just recently.
You have no concept of economics. You cannot just give everybody $50,000 to start a business.
We're gonna move on, Vice President Harris. President Trump, this is now your third.
Even if you have a
time
good
running for
idea,
president. You have long vowed to repeal
it's
and
just
replace the
hard to
Affordable Care Act. Also,
9
known
out of
as
10
Obamacare. You have failed
or
to
something
accomplish
like that.
You now
Gonna
say
fail
you're
within the
gonna
first
keep
year.
Obamacare, quote,
It's not
unless
easy to
we can
start a
do something
business.
much better. Last month, you said, quote, we're working on it.
A
So
profitable
tonight,
business,
9
especially
years after you
profitable
first
business,
started
no.
running, do you have a plan, and can you tell us what it is?
So that is pie in the sky bullshit.
Healthcare. Always was. It's not very good today. And what I said, that if we come up with something, and we are working on.
I mean, look at
things,
my
we're gonna
my
do it. We're
channel
gonna replace
is a
it.
business.
Remember this. I inherited.
My channel's a
Obamacare
business.
because
YouTube.
Democrats
I've been running it for 8
wouldn't change it. They
years.
wouldn't vote for
Have
it.
I made a
They were
profit?
unanimous. They
Hell
wouldn't
no.
vote to change it. If they would have done that, we would.
All the money I put into that channel, in terms of radios and the microphone and my internet service, you think I made a profit in that channel? I'm way under the. I'm way in the red. What are you talking about?
And I felt I had an obligation, even though politically it would have been good to just let it rot and let it go away. I decided, and I told my people, the top people, and they're very good people. I have a lot of good people in that administration. We read about the bad ones. We had some real bad ones too, and so do they. They have really bad ones. The difference is they don't get rid of it. But let me just explain. I had a choice to make. Do I save it and make it as good as it can be, or do I let it rot? And I saved it. I did the right thing. But it's still never going to be great, and it's too expensive for people. And what we will do is we're looking at different plans. If we can come up with a plan that's going to cost our people, our population, less money and be better healthcare than Obamacare, then I would absolutely do it. But until then, I'd run.
And by the way, did you hear about what California wants to do?
Just yes or no, you still do not have a plan.
California wants to give
a plan. I'm not
illegal
right
aliens
now. But if
up to $150,000 to buy their first home.
Something that's better and less expensive. And there are concepts and options.
So illegal
we
alien,
have
illegal
to do
illegal
that.
whatever,
And you'll be
whatever
hearing
the fuck
about
you want to
it
call
in the
them.
not too distant future.
Up to $150,000 to buy their first home. Yeah, my question is, where's my $150,000 to buy my first home? We didn't get that shit. Or my wife.
What is your plan today?
She didn't get $150,000 to buy this fucking house.
supported over the last 4 years as vice president, private health.
And her credit is fucking amazing. Her credit was amazing.
But I'll get to
You're gonna give $150,000 to some fucking illegal that you don't even know their real identity?
And then this
Does that make
business of taking
sense?
everyone's guns away. Tim Walz and I are both gun owners. We're not taking anybody's guns away. So stop with the continuous lying about this stuff.
No,
As it relates
they
to the
do want to
Affordable
take away
Care Act,
guns.
Understand, let's just
They wanna
look at the history
ban-
to know where people stand. When Donald Trump was president,
You know, you're gonna have
60
a single
times
shot gun.
he
That's
tried
it.
to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. 60 times. I was a senator at the time when I will never forget the early morning hours when it was up for a vote in the United States Senate. And the late, great John McCain, who you have disparaged
Oh, please.
as being, you don't like him, you said at the time, because he got caught. He was an American
Fucking
hero.
fake.
The late, great John McCain, I will never forget that night, walked onto the Senate floor and said,
Fucking guy
No,
use
you
that
don't.
war hero badge
no,
for
you don't. No, you
for
don't
profit
get
or
rid
whatever.
of the
Get the fuck
Affordable
outta
Care Act.
here.
You have no plan. And what the Affordable
worst
Care
candidate
Act
we
has done
had
is
president.
eliminate
That
the
one went
ability
well.
of insurance companies to deny people with pre-existing conditions. I don't have to tell people watching
Stop
tonight.
with the John
remember what
McCain
that was
shit.
like? Remember when an insurance
And
company
the
could
shit that I read
deny
about him was bullshit.
if a child had asthma?
There's people that
if
actually
someone
proved
was
it. That was a bunch of
breast
bullshit.
cancer survivor,
There's a lot of
if
stories made
grandparent
about
had
him.
diabetes? And thankfully,
A lot of people were
as I've
shot
been
down in
vice
Vietnam at
president,
that time,
and
by
we,
the
over
way.
the last 4 years, have strengthened the Affordable Care Act. We have allowed for the first time Medicare to negotiate drug prices.
If you read the story, he wasn't even shot down. It was a mechanical.
Donald
If you
Trump
read the
said
story
he
about him,
gonna
by the way, he wasn't even
negotiate
shot down.
drug prices. He never did. We did.
Supposedly it was a mechanical failure.
At $35 a month. Since I've been vice president,
Not everybody that flies a plane crashes because they got shot down.
for seniors at $2,000
So
a year.
stop with that
And
bullshit
when I am
too.
president, we will do that.
Make
for
it sound
all
like he
people,
flew into
understanding
a whole
that
bunch of
the
fucking
value I
MiGs
bring to
around
this
him, and he shot down 20 MiGs before they took him down.
healthcare
That was not the
should be a
case.
right, and not just a privilege of those who can afford it. And the plan has to be to strengthen the
Fucking
Affordable
stolen
Care
valor
Act,
shit.
not
Get out of
rid
here
it.
with that shit.
Vice
Pass this
President
prologue
Harris,
in
thank
terms
you.
of where Donald Trump stands on that.
I want to move to an issue.
Don't say it like it is
that's
here. I don't care if people don't like it. I don't care if people don't like what I say about McCain. That's one of the biggest fabricated myths about that man.
Kept it going, and you know what? We can do much better than Obamacare, much less money, but she won't improve private insurance.
A lot of people got
for
shot
private
down in
medical
Vietnam, and
insurance.
some people never came back,
That's
by the
another
way.
thing she doesn't want to get. People are paying
And by the way, you don't only get shot
insurance.
down. Some people
And
crash
they
because of
work
mechanical
hard,
failure
and
and shit like that.
And they want to have private. She wants.
Doesn't mean that you become a Medal of Honor winner,
government
whatever the
insurance
fuck.
where you
Get
work
out of here with that shit.
6 months for an operation that you.
I
need
can tell you that
President
shit.
Trump, thank you. We have another issue that we'd like to get to that's important for a number of Americans, in particular younger voters, and that's climate change. President Trump,
Another
with regard to the
fucking
environment,
lie.
you say that we have to have clean air and clean water. Vice President Harris, you call climate change an existential threat.
scam.
The question to you both tonight is what
It's a
would you
scam.
do
Thank
to
you,
fight
Al Gore,
climate
for the
change? And Vice President Harris,
biggest
we'll start
scam
with
of
you.
the this millennium
Former president
is
said
climate
that
change.
Climate change is a hoax.
It's a
And
scam.
what we know is that it is very real. You ask anyone who lives in a state who has experienced these extreme weather occurrences, who now is either being denied home insurance or it's being jacked up.
Pollution
You
is
ask
real.
Anybody who
That's
has
real.
been the victim of what that
Don't
means
confuse
in terms of
pollution with
losing their
climate
home,
change.
having nowhere to go. We know that we can actually deal with this issue. The young people of
Climate
America care
change.
deeply about this issue. And I am proud that as vice president over the last 4 years, we have invested $1 trillion in a clean energy
$1 trillion,
economy,
yeah.
while we have also
And what
increased
happened?
domestic
Where does
production
climate
to historic
where the
levels.
climate jobs
We
at?
have created over 800,000 new manufacturing jobs while I have been vice president. We have invested in clean energy to the point that we are opening
And
up
again, solar
factories around
panels
the world.
and
Donald
wind
Trump
power
said he
only
was gonna
counts for
create
maybe
manufacturing jobs. He lost manufacturing jobs.
maybe
And I'm
10%
also
of
proud to have the
all
endorsement of the
energy in
United
this
Auto
country.
Workers and Sean Fain,
I think it's even
who
less than
also
that.
know that part of building a clean energy
Okay.
economy includes investing
And in many
in
countries, by the way.
American-made products, American automobiles.
Name one
includes
country.
growing
Name one
what we
country
can do around American manufacturing
that
and
has
opening
all the
up auto
energy
plants, not closing them,
as
looking after
alternative
them,
energy.
Donald Trump.
Name one. You're not going to be able to because it's
Let
impossible.
me just tell you, they lost 10,000 manufacturing jobs.
By the way, even
this
to
last
make
month.
those
it's going, they're all leaving.
Even to make those products, you still need energy.
In many cases,
And that energy comes from what? Fossil fuel.
Building these massive plants.
So that's a scam. That's a lie.
Into the United States because of these people, what they have given to China.
That's like when they make electric vehicles, right? What do you think makes electric vehicles?
Tariffs in those cars so they can't come into
coal-fired power plant. Energy.
Any auto worker, whether it's in Detroit,
right?
South
Oh, by the way,
Carolina,
when they make those
any
batteries,
place,
it takes energy to make batteries.
And manufacturing in this country,
And it takes energy to charge those batteries.
we have nothing because they.
In other words, it's a scam.
You know, Biden doesn't go after people because supposedly China paid him millions of dollars.
It's a
He's
scam.
afraid to do it. Between him and his son, they get all this money from Ukraine.
They
get
make
all
it sound
this
so
money from all
kumbaya.
of these
It's a
different
scam.
countries, and then you
The
want to
reality
listen
is
so well
the
to
technology
this
we have
when you
today.
train China.
And by the way,
Why
nuclear
is it-
energy
why
is
did
a
he get
very
$3.5
good alternative.
million from
The problem with
America
nuclear
last
energy
year's
is
way?
the
Why did he get? Why did you
spent
pay
fuel
$3.5
rods is disposal of the
This is
uranium.
a crooked administration,
So
and they're selling
that is
our
the
country down
actually that is the
tubes.
cleanest energy is nuclear energy.
We'll be right back.
However, it is the byproduct of it is
Tonight, this ABC News presidential debate.
bad. And some countries do run a lot of their energy is nuclear. And of course, in our case, we're phasing that out, which is kind of a mistake. And there you go. Next break.
$1 million. This is a crooked administration, and they're selling our country down the tubes.
President Trump, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with closing statements from both of our candidates. An historic night, this ABC News presidential debate.
Alexa.
From Philadelphia, back in a moment.
Volume 3. So that climate change is scam. It's a scam. It's a scam. I mean, we drive up in Monroe County. There's a big solar power like area. It's like acres. And we drove by places. I remember when we went to Indiana by the farm. There was an area where they had a lot of wind. The wind. What do they call those things? The wind. I forgot the name of it. Anyway. And they look so ugly. They're big and they take up a whole. They're in a farm though. But I can imagine you can't fly. The birds cannot fly around that area. They must kill a lot of birds. Wind farm. Yeah, that's what I meant. Wind farm. Then you have some that are out there in the sea. Like in Europe, they have some off the coast of the Netherlands. I think they have a big wind farm there. And they're trying to do that over here in New Jersey. And apparently that's why you're getting more whales that are washing up in the beaches. Because I guess the wind is messing with their navigation in their brain, whatever. And I know Sliwa talked about that during the, with his wife. And it makes sense, that. So when you talk about environmental stuff, yeah, you can put big, ugly wind fucking farms in the middle of the ocean. But you always got to have redundancy. That's another thing, too, that I don't understand. You always got to have redundancy. Redundancy means that you always got to have a backup for a backup. So even if you have solar, even if you have wind energy, right? What if the solar panels, for some reason, there's an earthquake, they get destroyed or whatever? Who knows, whatever it is. By the way, solar panels don't last forever. They have to be replaced every few years. If a solar panel breaks, it gets cracked, it has to be replaced. And by the way, solar panels only work when the sun is out during the day. And then, of course, it does charge batteries. Now you're gonna have billions of batteries that you gotta maintain. By the way, batteries don't last forever. They need to be disposed. Last time I checked, battery disposal is a very toxic issue. And it is toxic to dispose billions of batteries because that's what you're gonna create. When you have solar energy, you're gonna create more batteries. Same thing with the EV vehicles. You're gonna create these gigantic lithium batteries, and then they all have a lifespan. That battery has a lifespan, and then what happens to that battery? That battery has to be disposed. And if you have unless you have a plan to recycle all that and use them, you're gonna have a bigger waste problem no matter what. And they don't think about that. It sounds good that, oh my God, fossil fuel is the enemy. No, fossil fuel is not the enemy, but they paint that picture like fossil fuel is the enemy. And we have gotten better over the years compared to the 70s. Where fossil fuel now is more cleaner fuel. There is less emission in the air, because that is one thing that they have done is regulate for example, unleaded gasoline and all that, things like that. But you just can't be that kumbaya bullshit and say, where every this whole city, New York City is gonna be powered by solar. It's never gonna happen. It's impossible. We're gonna have 1 billion acres dedicated to solar to power what? A few 100,000 square miles of population is impossible. I agree that it should be used, but it's not going to count for 100% of total energy. It would never happen. Not with the technology we have today. Maybe 100 years from now, it might be different. We'll have a different technology by then. But right now, it's only a fraction of the total energy in this world is solar energy. If I were to put a solar panel here, it's say my house. If I want to do solar power to power this whole house, you know how much it will cost me? We're talking about, it's like buying we're talking about over $30,000-$40,000 just to power this whole house on solar. In other words, the solar panel, the charging system, the batteries. And by the way, those batteries are going to have to be recycled over and over. And you're going to have to maintain the solar panels over the years, because they're not going to last forever. And maybe every 5 years, they're going to have to be replaced. So it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money to put on solar. So, or keep paying the utility what you're paying now. Over the long run, it actually cheaper to pay the utility than actually put solar panels in this house. It will cost a lot of money. It will really put us in debt. So that's a myth about solar energy and wind energy. That only counts for a very small fraction of the total power in this. And then of course you have your water, hydroelectric, like Niagara Falls and all these places that they produce some power, generating with the water. But that's a myth. That's all a myth. That's a scam. He said these industries pay these people to say, yeah, promote this alternative and we'll give you money for your campaign. It's all about money. But viability is not. It's not viable. It's not viable. It's never going to be viable. That's solar energy. Now, cost has went down. And by the way, the leading producer of solar energy, you're going to have to depend on one country. Who makes the biggest solar panels in the world? It's not United States of America. Last time I checked, it's China. So we're going to be dependent on who? Another country that doesn't even like us. So that's fucking idiotic. Did we not learn that about the pandemic? About all the medical stuff that we had to depend on? So we're gonna rely on, they're the biggest producer in lithium batteries, China. And they're also the biggest producer in solar panels. So much for energy independence. Kamala. Dummy. Alexa, play WABC.
Playing WABC radio.
You believe in things that the American people don't believe in. You believe in things like, we're not going to frack, we're not going to take fossil fuel, we're not going to do things that are going to make this country strong, whether you like it or not. Germany tried that, and within 1 year, they were back to building normal energy plants. We're not ready for it. We can't sacrifice our country for the sake of bad vision. But I just ask one simple question.
What happened here?
Why didn't she do it? We're a failing nation. We're a nation that's in serious decline. We're being laughed at all over the world. All over the world, they're laughed. I know the leaders very well. They're coming to see me. They call me. We're laughed at all over the world. They don't understand what happened to us as a nation. We're not a leader. We don't have any idea what's going on. We have wars going on in the Middle East. We have wars going on with Russia and Ukraine. We're going to end up in a third world.
Exactly.
war,
We
and
have
there'll be
people
a
that are
war
not
like no
responsible
other
running this
because of
country.
Nuclear weapons, the power of weaponry. I rebuilt.
When you don't make them
our
accountable, they're not going to be
military.
responsible
She
for
gave
what
a lot
happens.
of it away to the Taliban. She gave it to Afghanistan. What these people have done to our country, and maybe toughest of
They
all,
go
is
hand in
allowing
hand, people.
millions of people to
Accountability.
come into our country, many of them
Accountability
criminals, and they're destroying
produces
our country.
responsibility.
The worst president, the worst vice
And when you don't make
president
them
in the
accountable,
history
they're not going to
of
give a
our
fuck
country.
about you.
President
Remember
Trump,
that.
thank you. And that is our ABC News presidential debate from here in Philadelphia at the National Constitution
So when you don't fire
Center.
people,
I'm Lindsay Davis.
And I'm David Muir. Thank you for watching here.
they
in the
don't
US and
care.
all
They
over
say,
the
you know
world
what,
from
I
all
can
of
get
us
away
here
with
at
this.
ABC News. Good night.
And maybe toughest of all is allowing millions of people to come into our country. Many of them are criminals, and they're destroying our country. The worst president, the worst vice president in the history of our country.
President Trump, thank you. And that is our ABC News presidential debate from here in Philadelphia at the National Constitution Center.
All right.
I'm Lindsay Davis.
And I'm David Muir. Thank you for watching here in the US and all over the world and from all of us here at ABC News. Good night.
All right. Alexa, stop. I don't want to hear John Catsimatidis bumbling voice. Sorry, I don't want to hear that guy. I can't hear that man. I can't. I appreciate what he's done for WABC, but I cannot listen to that man talk. He's unlistenable. Especially when he talks over Rita. He annoys me when it comes to that. And then of course they had the Anthony Weiner, whatever pedo fucker on the panel. I can't stand that. I don't know. I cannot listen to that show. The left versus even when Sleep was, I couldn't listen to it. I just can't listen to that man. He's a creep. I'm sorry, anybody that sends a dick pic, I'm gonna say it. I don't care if people don't like it. Anyone that sends a dick pic to a 15-year-old girl, you're a sick fuck. You're a sick fuck. I don't care what fucking sexual rehab, whatever, all this fake fucking what they call it? Addiction. No, you're a fucking creep. That's it. You're a fucking slug. All right? You shouldn't be on the fucking air. And that's why there's only a few stations left on WABC that I can listen to. Because since they fired Giuliani, that really rubbed me the wrong way. Because he was just asking for a little more money. Or give him a little more time. 1 hour a day, that was an insult to the man. I'm sorry. It was an insult to the man that he only had 1 hour fucking day. Okay? 1 hour a day. America's mayor. You're going to give him 1 hour a day, that's it? For whatever fucking time you gave him? When the man has like 500,000 people on YouTube. And on Rumble. He has like 200,000. I don't know what the fucking number is. He's all over the fucking. You're going to give him 1 hour? Just for this jerk off? This jerk off gets 2 hours on Saturday. That's why I can't listen to this man. I can't. I'm getting to the point where I'm not going to listen to WABC anymore. I only listen. You know who I listen to? I listen to Dominic. I like Dominic. I remember Dominic from New York 1. That's why I go back watching that when I had cable. Dominic. Sid, I listen to in the morning, but that's another one I can't stand. He's a fucking narcissist. I can't really stand him too much. But I guess he's coming around. Remember, he was a Trump hater, so don't be fooled by him. He flip flops. So my thing was Dominic. Who else I listened to something? I like Bill O'Reilly. I still like Bill O'Reilly, although lately he's been Trump bashing too much, and I'm kind of getting sick of him too. Overnight, Frank Morano, and of course Curtis. But Curtis, I think he just comes on too much. He has too many. He's all over the place. That's like he hogs up the network. Like give it to somebody new, but not a creep, like Weiner. Because I can't stand Weiner. And Giuliani, Giuliani is probably rough around there. He probably told him to go, whatever. I don't care if you're the boss, but you're the boss. That's great. I'm America's fucking mayor. I'm always gonna be America's fucking mayor. I have 500,000 people on YouTube that follow me. What you have on WABC? If you go to WABC's YouTube, I'm bigger than WABC. I'm bigger than WABC right now. Okay? I think last time I checked, I'm bigger than WABC, my main channel. What are you talking about? He has 500,000 people. You use that. Put him on for another hour. Give him 2 hours. I was hoping he at least get 2 hours. And that's why I think he pissed him off. Here come the headlines that Trump pushes claim. They're gonna try to say that she won the debate. Watch the spin on this. Watch the spin that they're gonna say she won the debate. Remember, they canceled the mic. Remember, they're not allowed to go back and forth. Remember, this is not even an audience. So you know what? I'm gonna take what happened in this debate. He says he beat that old fucker, the beach sleeping fucker. He made him quit. That's how much he whooped his ass. They had to make this debate because all they were hoping from her was she didn't have a meltdown. That was it. She's gonna say her talking points, and that's what she did tonight. She made her talking points. They all rehearsed shit. She rehearsed for like 2 weeks. They said in the beginning of the debate about the how she was preparing. He didn't have to prepare much. Remember, this is the same guy that took down 16 Republicans. Remember that first debate that he called Jeb Bush low energy? And there was 16. It was 16 of them. And they tried to get him on that Rosie O'Donnell that you call all women fat. He said, no. Only Rosie O'Donnell. Remember that? This man, he went up against 16 at a time. And then even with the Republican side, Nikki Haley, for all she is, she's a fucking nasty bitch. I'm going to tell you. Oh, that shit about the man is in Africa and conservative. He's a fucking, he's in Africa doing a peace tour. Peacekeeping tour, whatever the fuck it was. He's not even in combat. That's a lie. To make it sound like he's in harm's way. Let me newsflash. Anybody that anywhere can be in harm's way. I could walk in the Bronx, I'm in harm's way. I could take the subway, I'm in harm's way. I hate when people say that he's overseas in harm's way. He was in Africa doing some fucking giving out bread to a village. Give me a fucking break. Make it sound like he's out there manning a machine gun, shooting fucking rebels or whatever off a helicopter. That's a fucking bullshit lie. That's what you get trying to paint that picture. He's risking his life. That's a fucking lie. Just stop it with that shit. And she tried to do everything to fucking, and he still won. He still won. He still whooped her fucking ass. Send her back to the fucking kitchen. Okay, I'm gonna say it like it is. You don't like it, fuck you. And that's what happened with this one. They had to throw it was gonna be the great equalizer. Because he had to be careful too. He had to go. See, they try to paint it like, okay, if he says something, if he tries to bully her, he just bully women. Or he's gonna bully her because she's black. Or he's gonna bully her because they painted that man in the corner that they were not gonna let that man win this debate. Okay? That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. That is the bottom line that my take on the debate right now is that they're gonna say that she held her own and that he was trying to bully her. That's what they're gonna paint that picture. And that the moderator fact checked him a few times and try to make him as a liar. That's the take on it. And they needed this. They needed her. They just needed her not to implode on herself. That's my take on this. Okay? They needed her not to have a meltdown, not to fuck it up like Biden did. Biden did. Biden totally fucked it up. He was medicated and all that shit. They try to say that he had a cold or something. That's bullshit. That man was so fucking medicated, and he's already senile, and he just couldn't talk. Especially when Trump said, "Yeah, I don't know what he said. I hope you understand what he said." I don't understand what he said, but whatever, you know. He made fun of him. He let him implode on himself, and now they were hoping that was not going to be the case with her. That's all. So they got what they wanted tonight. She didn't implode on herself. She didn't have a meltdown. She didn't have a meltdown, which is, you know, if you practice, if you've been rehearsing for 2 weeks, just to even talk, you shouldn't have a meltdown, especially with no audience. And you have 2 moderators that are kind of in your favor. Yeah. So we got what we expected, you know. But you know what they're going to do now? They're going to try to push this as, you know, she held her own, and he tried to bully her, and he got fact-checked a few times, and that's it. Now, the real question is, how many people are going to believe? Are still going to believe her? Because if I was him, I would not do another debate. That's it. I would not do it. I know she's going to probably bait him to do another debate, but I wouldn't do another debate unless it's Fox News, maybe, or Newsmax or somewhere. He already did one with CNN, and believe it or not, CNN was they were fair. I gotta say, I was shocked. They were very fair, and plus he imploded on himself. Not even CNN could have helped this man out, you know, Biden. But here, you can see clearly, even from the beginning, the pre-debate show, they were just throwing jabs at Trump, boom, 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 with the January 6th and all that shit. So I think what they were trying to do is they was hoping that he would get a meltdown, and he didn't. He didn't. He knew. He knows. He's there smirking with a smile of it. He knows that all these people are against him. Listen, the man survived. They trying to lock this man up. The man survived. Hey man, I'm gonna put it to you this way. I'm gonna wrap it up here. I'm gonna wrap it up for you. They put this man through, I don't know, you know, combined 150 years in prison with about 100 different charges. He survived all that. A person like me or you or anybody would have said, you know what, I don't need this shit in my life. I would have fucking dropped out. I would have dropped out of the race. I would have said, I don't need this fucking shit in my life. Fuck you. Fuck this country. I'm going to fuck it. I got a castle in Scotland. I would have fucking went on that castle for the rest of my life. I said, fuck this, fuck you. You know what? Oh, you guys go to fucking hell. That's what I would have done. But he did. He did. He said, I'm gonna stick it out. That man has stones, bro. That man get for you. And look what happened. Failed. They failed. They failed. This sentence now is gonna be after the election, November 26th, I believe, which is ridiculous. That's around the Thanksgiving holiday or so. I think he's gonna get pushed back after that. I don't think if he wins, that's it. You know, it's not gonna matter. But now if he loses, chances are he's not gonna run again anyway. Even if he loses, he's not gonna run again. I wouldn't run again. I don't care what anyway. I would never fucking run. Especially 4 years from now, he'll be in there. Yeah, I wouldn't run again anyway. I wouldn't run again. I would have ran now. I would have said, fuck it. I don't care. Like I said, I would have just, I have all this money. I would have went to another country. Fuck you. You guys elected. I'm going to be straight up with you guys. I don't care. Fucking unsubscribe me. I don't give a shit. I'm going to tell you like it is here. Me with that money, you didn't vote for me the second time. I would have said, fuck you. I would have took my riches. I would have lived in a castle in Scotland. The rest of my life, I would have been doing very well. And I would have took a lawn chair off the coast of Scotland and look at a satellite TV and say, look what's going on over there in America now. I told you so. I told you what was going to happen. That's what I would have been doing. I wouldn't have ran again. I wouldn't have ran. I give him a lot of credit for him. He must really love this country. He loves it more than I do. He loves it a lot more than I do. Because I wouldn't have ran. I would never ran again. You didn't reelect me? fuck you. That's what I would have done. You didn't re-elect me? I would have said, fuck you. I would have went to Scotland, live in that castle, and took my lawn chair and say, here you go. This is what you wanted. This is what you wanted. And that's what I'm going to tell you Democrats now. All you fucking liberals out there, I'm going to tell you the same thing I'm going to tell you that I've been telling you for the last few months. You voted for this shit. You voted for this fucking open border shit. Don't blame, don't blame him. Don't blame this. You voted for it. You people knew better. But you people vote with your feelings too much. That's the problem with you people. You people don't like when somebody tells you like it is. Sometimes somebody got to tell you to shut up. Sometimes people got to tell you to take it down a notch. Sometimes people got to correct you. Like when you're walking down the street and you got your pants down to the crack of your ass, somebody got to tell you to put up your fucking pants. Put up your fucking pants. How about that? What a novel idea. And that's the problem. And too many of you fucking people out there don't want to listen. And this is why we're getting this now. This is why we're getting the result of this shit. And I'm going to tell you, God help you. If he doesn't get reelected, it's going to be on you. It's going to be on you and you and you when all those fucking illegals going to be in your backyard. Because it's coming. It's already here. It's already here. It's already here all over the place. Every big city that's run by them is fucked right now. It's fucked. And by the way, big cities, even the ones that are not democratically run or liberal, whatever, they're already there. Texas is going to be overrun. I'll give it 2 or 3 more years. Texas is going to be it's a red state now. If they keep this shit open, it's going to be a blue state within 2 or 3 more years. That's a big one. And New York, any chance that New York ever was going to go back to red is gone. It's gone. It's gone. Because you fuckers vote with your feelings. And that's the problem. You don't like when somebody tells you the truth. I grew up without a dad. And you know what? I made a lot of fucking mistakes in my life because I didn't have a dad. If I had a dad that told me, hey, oye, estúpido, no haga esto, don't do this, I would have listened, and my life would have been, I would have had a better childhood and a better upbringing if I had a dad that would discipline me. That's what he is. He's dad. He's dad to this country right now. And you guys need a fucking dad. Because a lot of you people are out of fucking control. And that's the problem with you fuckers. You're out of control. And that's what we at now. So you guys got to blame for this. So if you're going to vote for her, then you know what? You're going to kiss his ass. You're going to kiss this country's ass goodbye. Because that's it. We're never going to go back to where people respect this country, where you're letting all these people come in here. You're letting military age Chinese people come in here. You know what that means? They're already invading within. Do you not understand that? If you read your history, every country that got destroyed, every civilization that got destroyed within. Like Rome. Rome got destroyed within. Because they expanded too much. They started letting on, every civilization got destroyed. You think America's only been around for not even 300 years. It's less than 250 something years. I don't know what the fuck all the time my head is. We're not even gonna make it to the tricentennial. We're not gonna make it to the tricentennial because you fuckers out there are gonna fuck it up for everybody else. Because you guys get your feelings fucking hurt too much. And mommy and daddy didn't spank you enough to listen. And that's the problem. We have a nation of pussies. A lot of these nations out here, you disrespect an elder, you get smacked in the fucking head. And that's the problem. We don't have discipline here no more. We don't have no discipline. There's no more discipline in this fucking country. Yeah, people out here walking with their pants all the way down to their fucking ass. And if you tell them to put up their pants, you're fucking, that's being racist because no, put up your fucking pants. You're not in fucking prison. And all that shit come from prison shit. Worshipping fucking porn stars like Stormy Daniels. Having every fucking And by the way, you know Dancing with the Stars? Let me give you a news flash about Dancing with the Stars. You know who they're gonna have as a contestant in Dancing with the Stars? She's from Germany. And her name is Anna. I can't remember off the top of my head the last name. She was convicted of fraud. She was the they call it basically she stole like $350,000. She was a fake heiress, right? She's still wearing ankle bracelet. I think she did like I don't know how many months in federal prison. So they want to put this fucking bitch in Dancing with the Stars. They want to make her like a celebrity. So she's gonna be dancing in Dancing with the Stars with an ankle monitor. Because she has to wear the ankle monitor, by the way. And this is the problem. When you promote criminality and you give them you know what, when they say crime doesn't pay, you're actually promoting that crime does pay. Because this fucking bitch that did fraud on those poor investors, you just gave her more fame. The fake heiress. Go look up the case. I think it's Anna Watley or something. I forgot her last name. She's from Germany. I thought they were going to deport her after her sentence. Apparently, they're not going to deport her. But she's going to be on Dancing with the Stars as a celebrity contestant. Since when a fucking criminal is a celebrity? That did fraud. Like imagine Bernie Madoff. Let's put Bernie Madoff in Dance with the Stars. He stole billions from investors. That's what you're doing. So this fucking bitch is going to be with an ankle monitor on Dancing with the Stars. This is what the society is now. You're promoting the criminality, and you know what? And this fucking wiener guy on the air, I'm gonna say he's a fucking child molester. That's what he is. When you send a dick pic to a 15, that's you're a child molester. That's it. You're a fucking pedophile. No fucking straight up. That's it. And when you reward shit like this is why we have fall. The society is on a free fall right now. Okay, it's on a free fall. It's disgraceful. So you guys better fucking wake up. Wake up. I don't care who your family members are. I go around here, I tell everyone, I don't have much of a family here. But I know my brother in the Bronx, he's going to vote for Trump. My sister's going to vote for Trump because she loves Trump. My brother Harry's going to vote for, everybody in his house is going to vote for Trump. My wife's going to vote for Trump. Well, I don't know about my wife because she didn't vote last time. And I wanted to I told her, why you didn't vote? Like, this is why, I'm going to vote. So anybody you can reach out to, you better vote, because you know what? If you don't vote, I'm going to have that lawn chair and watch the destruction of this country happen. I'm tired of sitting on this lawn chair and laughing at people. Now it's hitting too close to home. I'm in Yonkers now. We got migrants here in Yonkers. Right down Tuckahoe Road. There's 150 of them there. I already see them. I see them moving into these houses one by one. They are so-called extended family. So they're already among us. They're already here among us here in Yonkers. So you guys better fucking wake up. We got a nation to save. And if you're not wanting to, you know what? If you don't vote, don't blame me. Don't blame when the economy fucking tanks. Don't blame anybody. You know what? Blame yourself, because you were too lazy. You was too lazy to take a walk down the voting booth. And by the way, everybody's voting booth is only a couple of blocks away. When I lived in the Bronx, my voting booth was local public high school 3 blocks away. It's not in the middle of the boondocks. This voting right here is the 2 buildings down. A building down the block. That's it. That's where my voting thing is. It's right there. So I don't want to hear about this excuse that, you're too fucking lazy to vote. No, fucking vote. That's it. And get these fucking people out of here. Because if not, you know what? It's going to be, you got to blame nobody but yourself for letting this shit happen. So it's time we take this country back to where it was before. Because I'm sick of this shit. Because I'm quite frankly, I tell my wife all the time, if she wins, I'm going to get the fuck out of here. I'm really thinking about it. You know what's a beautiful thing about amateur radio that I learned, especially on DMR, talking to people, is that there's a big world out there, and they're laughing at the shit that happens here. You know, they're laughing at us. They are laughing at us. Like they can't say, I can't believe you guys are really fucking up the greatest country in the world right now. The greatest country in the world everybody wants to come to now. So you know why everybody's thinking now? We're going to come here and pillage. That's their thinking. I'm going to tell you something. Their thinking is now, we want to come here and pillage and wreck what you have left. Like, you know, like going out of business sale. They want to come here and pillage the last shit that we have here. And then it'll get destroyed. And that's from what I hear. From what I read, that's what's happening now. They're laughing at us like there's a fire sale now. And he's the only one that can save the business from going bankrupt. Because our dollar is weak now. Our dollar is a joke. It's starting to be a joke. So our dollar is weak. And what do you think is going to happen when these people start giving out trillions of dollars to people like, oh, we're going to give people $50,000 to start a business. That's going to weaken the dollar even more and more. And we're going to have hyperinflation. That's what happened in Venezuela. You know what hyperinflation is? When you want to buy a loaf of bread, you know how many dollar bills you're going to have? You're going to have that stack of bills this high with a whole bunch of zeros. That's hyperinflation. And if you think that hasn't happened in history, just look at Venezuela recently. Or Zimbabwe. Read about hyperinflation. That's going to happen here. It's going to happen here. Hyperinflation is not something to laugh at. Hyperinflation, that means that, you know what? What happened in Venezuela? People were eating zoo animals. Think about that. People are starving. They resulted to eating zoo animals. That's not hyperbole. That's fact. So you guys better wake the fuck up. All right? And I'm done. I'm done for today. 2 hours and 50 minutes in the books. Thank you for people watching my live stream. Thank you, Tasso. Thank you, James Farley. And like I said, this debate, they're going to spin it for what it is. And right now, these polls are all fake. They're fake. They got her up 4 points, 3 points, dead heat. They're already setting up the fix. They're already setting up the fix. So, I'll be honest with you. I'm going to vote. Obviously, I'm going to vote. But right now, from what I saw tonight, they're ganging up on this man. They really don't want this man to win. And they're going to spin this shit. I guarantee you, in the morning, they're going to spin this shit that she won the debate. And that's it. And it's shameful. It's shameful that we have a country like this. But I got nobody but to blame but you guys. You guys out there that vote for this shit. When I watch these TikTok videos and people complaining, oh, look at all the immigrants, look at all the migrants that are right here in front of my house, and you know what? When I got by way, I got hit with copyrights for those strike. I got hit with a strike for that. I said, well, you got what you voted for. What the fuck? You got what you voted for. So there you go. All right, I am done for tonight. I'm gonna relax for the rest of the night. I'm going to listen to the radio now. I'm going to hear different spins on there. And I just saw a headline about Taylor Swift endorses Kamala. Of course, she's a fucking dumbass. Who fucking cares? She's just a fucking serial dater. She's going to break up with that guy soon and make a song about it. Watch. Fucking Swift. Anyway, good night, everybody. And, I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Good night.